Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
Disco compliments.
All right, welcome back, True Seeker. It is October 13th, and if you didn't hear the news, they had to delay the space flight. Jeff Bezos of Amazon, he has that company, Blue Origin, that supposedly flies to space, and they were going to beam up none other than Captain Kirk, William Shatner from Star Trek yesterday, but they delayed it until today. And we're going to talk about why they did it today, October 13th. If you saw my video when I covered this story a couple weeks ago, when it was announced that William Shatner was going to space, however long ago that was, we talked about two numbers in that video. We talked about the number 112 and why the initial planned date was for October 12th. And then we talked about 113 and why October 13th, you know. If you go back and watch the video, I might have made a comment saying I'm almost surprised they didn't go October 13th. Sorry, guys. Doing the show from home, just a warning. We're using we got a new rice cooker. This wasn't part of the planned show. We got a new rice cooker, and I always start dinner right before Sweet Lady gets home. I feel like this new rice, it's the first time I'm using it tonight. And it is making the craziest noise right now. I want to, if it sounds like a bomb went off, it's the new rice cooker, you guys. Yeah, it sounds crazy. It does not sound right. You guys, just so I don't burn down the house while I'm doing the show, I am sorry to have to do this, but I've never heard a rice cooker make a noise like this. I don't even know if it's coming through the mic. It's very loud. Give me 20 seconds for station identification. 1 second. Timing is terrible. I don't know. It looks like it's going fine. I just don't understand the noise. I will keep you guys posted. And if it does blow up, I'll tell you what rice cooker to never buy. But if the sound is coming through the background, apologies. We're just going to have to deal with it. Loudest rice cooker on the planet. Or on the flat disc. I don't want to offend anyone tonight. Tonight we're going to be sensitive to everyone's feelings. Again, the truth community, it was turned into about 50% flat earthers in the summer of 2015. And again, you guys, since before Flat Earth got here, just so you know where I'm coming from, since before even Flat Earth showed up on the scene, I've been questioning what they're really telling us about space, the distances, the speeds that are reported. I mean, there's just so much that seems so funny about what we know about space based on what we learned from the authorities. But coming back to, again, why this Blue Origin launch of Captain Kirk into space was scheduled for yesterday and ended up happening today, October 13th. Again, numerology is so important to these people. And Today, October 13th, if you wrote down the date in the U.S., you would write it 10/13. 1013. And when a zero's in the middle of a number in numerology, it doesn't mean anything. So it's like 113 is the date sequence. Today's date, October 13th, 1013 becomes 113. And in gematria, again, this is the gematria effect, Captain Kirk, when you just take the alphabetic order, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, just turning each letter to a number, and you add up the letters of Captain Kirk, it adds up to 113. C's the third letter, A's the first, P's the 16th, T's the 20th, A's the first, I's the 9th, N's the 14th. Add up Captain Kirk, 113. The spaceship that he supposedly traveled to space in today, the New Shepard, same thing, 113, right? 113. And if you've read my first book, Letters and Numbers, there's a big chapter on space by the numbers. And in the book, I talk about the significance of 113, what happened with the 113th NASA mission. I won't ruin that for you. That's your homework tonight, to look up NASA's 113th space mission and see what happened with that one. But this number 113, it relates to something that comes from the Talmud. Again, the Talmud is a Jewish text that not all Jews subscribe to, but a certain number of Jews go by the Talmud. And I think even most of the Jews who go by the Talmud, it doesn't necessarily mean that they'd agree with this verse, but there's a verse in there, Bava Kamah 113a, that says it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who's not Jewish, referred to as a Goyim, or a Gentile in the Talmud, which is a non-Jew. And Bava Kamah 113a. And in gematria, just using the English alphabet, mainstream is 113, dishonest 113, perverted 113, not true 113. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, the phrase not honest is 113, which is interesting. Not factual is 113, the way we just talked about it prior. Disinfo, if you run the alphabetic order backwards, is 113. Politics is 113. Perjury, fiction. The word bullshit literally equals 113. And how do we use the word bullshit? We use it to describe something that is not true, full of it, right? The word infidelity, 113, so is the word divorce, so is the word sinister, so is the word erroneous. The majority of those are just running the alphabetic order forwards. A few of them are running the alphabetic order in reverse. But again, we learned that running the alphabetic order in reverse was the other half of the code, 4 or 5 years ago. And it's just so obvious. It's so obvious because there's so many rituals done in the mainstream that are definitely not honest that encode this number again and again. And, the phrase green screen equals 113. You can use a green screen to trick somebody. And I think the news might be doing that more often than we know. George Lucas was the master of the green screen. Interestingly enough, George Lucas is 113, and one of his first movies, don't quote me on it, it might have been his first movie, THX 1138. If that wasn't his first movie, it was definitely one of his first movies, way before Star Wars. THX 1138. And, you think about George Lucas, Star Wars, right? Star Wars, Space Trek, these huge entertainment, whatever you want to call them. One's a TV show, the other's a movie. But again, just so much fanfare with Star Wars and Star Trek. And, with regards to Star Trek's only one off. Star Trek is 112, just like Blue Origin is 112, like Jeff Bezos' birthday is January 12th, 112. And they were going to do this mission yesterday, was the original plan. October 12th, 1012. But again, just Star Trek, Captain Kirk, 113, Star Trek 112. The number here that we're really focused on, though, is the 113. And just adding on to that list, again, if you've never heard of Piltdown Man, look up Piltdown Man. It was the first proof of evolution. With the alphabetic order, Piltdown is 113. If you use the rules of numerology, Piltdown is 41. And the Piltdown lie lasted for 41 years. It became an admitted to lie and fraud after 41 years of being used as proof of evolution. Remember the what they call it, the trial of the century, O.J. Simpson? O.J. Simpson equals 113. So does Ron Goldman. Isn't that interesting? The two men in the life of the murdered woman, and supposedly Ron Goldman murdered as well, but the two men in the story, O.J. Simpson, Ron Goldman, both 113. A big mass distraction for the populace. Look into Princess Diana's death, and you'll find a few 113s. The word princess itself is 113. Right now, we're living in the time of the coronavirus pandemic. Coronavirus pandemic is 113, and it was declared on March 11th. Do you think it's an honest thing, the coronavirus pandemic? Do you remember the day the pandemic was declared was the day the National Basketball Association shut down? The National Basketball Association has one team that equals 113. It's the Utah Jazz. That's the team that the coronavirus outbreak was blamed on March 11th. Utah Jazz 113, the National Basketball Association 113, just like Kobe Bryant 113, just like Michael Jordan 113. And with regards to the number 113, 113, it's the 30th prime number. In the NBA, there's 30 teams. And a better example of the relevance of 113 and 30 than that is the movie The Debt. If you've never seen this movie before, look it up. The Debt. It's on a lot of streaming platforms that you probably subscribe to. It's about Mossad agents in Israel who have to live with a lie for 30 years. They have to live with a lie for 30 years before it comes to light. And what's amazing about the movie is its length is an hour and 53 minutes. That's 113 minutes. The movie's 113 minutes long. And if you watch it, I promise this is the truth about the movie, where you learn about the lie in the movie that they have to live with is at the hour and 13 minute mark. 113 in a movie that's 113 minutes long that's about living with a lie. And again, 113 is the 30th prime. And you got these people, these Mossad agents, Israel, Judaism, right? The Talmud, having to live with the lie for 30 years. By the way, Bible equals 30. You know, you got to believe in the Bible. You got to believe that it's the Word of God and not the Word of man. You know, you got to make that choice to believe that men wouldn't do something so nefarious, to put in a book a bunch of information to control your mind from a young age, you know? In a world where that goes on every day, you know, in a world where that's going on in a lot more ways than just the Bible and religion. But remember, these control schemes for wanting to control humanity, these ideas come from religions and churches, you know. Church gave birth to government. But 113, this number of deception, and with regards to it being related to the space mission today, NASA was established July 29th, 1958. A date with numerology of 113. 7 plus 29 plus 19 plus 58. That's the date, 7/29/1958. Add it in chunks just like that. 7 plus 29 plus 19 plus 58. 113. Another good 113 is Titanic. Titanic, the boat that supposedly sank. If you look into it, they say it was an insurance fraud, and it wasn't really the Titanic that sank. It was its sister ship, which was already damaged. What's amazing is they say there's a theory out there that had the Titanic never sunk, the Federal Reserve never would have been established. And from the day that the Titanic sank to the day that the Federal Reserve was established, it was 617 days later, which is the 113th prime number. People in Boston know that number. That's the area code up there. Chris Sale just recently came back from coronavirus sickness, and in his first game back, he got the win. And he got his 113th career win that game. And for that game, Boston was wearing 617 patches. They didn't wear those the rest of the season, but 617, the 113th prime. Coronavirus pandemic 113. Again, Chris Sale, back from the sickness, the pandemic that was declared on March 11th. By the way, we got another 113 day coming up, not that far away, November 3rd. November 3rd, 113. I saw on ABC and CBS News last Friday night, they both said that that'll probably be the day that the vaccines for COVID are approved for children. You know, isn't it strange how before the vaccines were out, they were assuring parents that the virus was relatively safe to children. You didn't need to stress out so much about your children. It was more an elderly, people ill health type of thing if you were paying attention. But they kept telling you that children weren't really in harm's way. But then what happens after the vaccines come out? All of a sudden, all these new outbreaks in children. I mean, doesn't that just seem too convenient for Big Pharma? I mean, are we really supposed to be so sedated that we don't notice? Somehow it seems like most people are. But yeah, you guys, again, the beauty of gematria is you learn, you watch a conspiracy-related video, right, about the Titanic and how when it sank, the reason they say the Federal Reserve wouldn't have existed had the Titanic not sank is because 3 of the world's richest men died that day, and supposedly they were all fiercely against the Federal Reserve. And what makes me think that that's probably true, unless that was just all part of the cooked-up narrative at the time for the papers, is again, the spacing, the Titanic. From the day it sinks to the day the Federal Reserve is established is exactly the number of days. That's the prime number relationship with 113, the number of deception, dishonesty, essentially evil. And Titanic is 113 as well. That's when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. Titanic's 113. But yeah, you guys, I mean, this code is what's Titanic. You learn this and you just observe day after day after day the way these rituals are carried out. In the 8 years I've been here doing this every single day, I've never seen a bow and arrow attack as a mainstream headline. And I do believe Norway is one of these disarmed nations, but they got a bow and arrow mass shooter today. Is it? I guess it's still, you shoot the arrow, so I guess it's still a mass shooter. But with the bow and arrow, but you know what's funny about it coming today on 1013 or 113, the 30th prime, is that Norway equals 30. And this bow and arrow shooters in Norway. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. But, I'm looking at the front page of CNN right now, and I forgot a big 30 that fits in with the whole coronavirus pandemic. Again, like we said, coronavirus pandemic 113, declared on March 11th, 11/3. 113 is the 30th prime. They're saying the vaccine's probably going to go to the children on November 3rd, and vaccine equals 30, The coronavirus pandemic brings us the vaccine. And isn't it so convenient that 1 decade after Bill Gates declared his decade of vaccines in January of 2010, the first confirmed case of coronavirus is in his backyard in Seattle, Washington, where right away they begin developing the vaccines that are now being spread all over the world. And Bill Gates, 10 years earlier, almost to the day, had called for a push to vaccinate all the people of the world 10 years from then, Again, you just got to be asleep at the wheel to not see what's going on, especially when you have this knowledge. I don't think anyone that has this knowledge that's taken the time to pay attention and see if it's relevant is asleep at the wheel. But I mean, there's so many people who if they would just take a day to listen to this and then look at what they report the next day and how it's all encoded the same way day after day, maybe a light bulb would start to go off. By the way, for the person out there who's saying, Zach, you haven't talked about 56 yet tonight. I thought every show started with 56 these days. Man, there's so much 56, you guys. Did you just see John Gruden, Mr. Monday Night Football, Mr. NFL, resign on Monday during the Monday Night Football game? That summed to 56 points in terms of the total points scored in the game, 31-25. By the way, Baltimore Colts equals 56. The game this week was Baltimore versus the Colts, who now are in Indianapolis. But John Gruden resigned on his 56th day of his age. Supposedly made a racist remark in 2011 in an email, football 11 on 11, the master number. 56 is 11 in numerology. But supposedly he said the leader of the NFL Players Association, who happens to be a black man, had lips so big they were like Michelin tires. And then his team lost to an underdog, and then he resigned, during Monday Night Football. And again, in the year of Super Bowl 56 as well. And that there really is a lot more to the riddle, but we've been covering it all on Patreon since week 1. In week 1, we said expect the Baltimore Ravens to be 4-1 by the conclusion of Monday Night Football against the Colts. They did do that. Baltimore 41. It went to overtime 25-25. Ravens 25. Again, you guys, you learn this knowledge. You can see what's going to happen in the sports games. You can see what's going to happen in the news, the elections. You can see it before it happens a lot more often than not, because this is how the game's rigged. It doesn't make you a psychic. It's just that you realize the game that's being played with humanity and the way the headlines roll out by a code and the elections are worked by a code. And how we're being made fun of, and how we're being lied to. I mean, again, my people suffer for lack of knowledge. What we put out here each week is knowledge. Tell you why they're doing this. Again, the reason they do this is because of Kabbalah. Kabbalah's book of formation begins by saying God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. And again, it's just obvious what the game is. This is how they play God over our lives each day. These Kabbalistic practices, things that we don't learn about in slave school. And again, they keep us. It's obvious that part of the reason they also do this is, just to keep us engrossed in the things they want us to think about, to keep us understanding the way the world, the way they want us to understand it. But every day, it's like a scripted theatrical production to control the minds of the masses. And it seems to become more absurd and more ridiculous and more mocking with time. And I'd say that from the news stories to the sports game. Oh, by the way, Gabby Petito. Yesterday it came out that she died from strangulation. And from yesterday through the end of the year, that's 81 days left in the year. Strangulation equals 81, right? Don't you think they could have figured that out sooner than they did? I mean, they found her body September 19th. You mean to tell me it took almost a month to figure out from the autopsy that it was strangulation? That's something a coroner can find out in a much shorter period of time. Again, you guys, these are rituals that control the minds of the masses. You learn the knowledge. You see how day after day it rolls out by a code. And the symbols as well. Rambo's on here week after week educating about monarch mind control. How many more times are they going to show the picture of Gabby Petito in front of the painted monarch butterfly? It's kind of interesting that monarch butterfly is 201, like Jewish mysticism, like the Jesuit order. It's interesting how these important things all come together in certain numbers. You know what I mean? I think monarch mind control is beyond just like the MK Ultra projects. I think it's something about the media and what it does to us. Are we sure that monarch butterfly is for Gabby Petito, or is it for us? You know what I mean? Okay. What else is there to say? Oh yeah, the shooting. I was looking at the shooting in Norway, just scanning the article before I even started my decode. They had to report what time the shooting happened at, you guys. The shooting happened at 6:47 p.m. local time, right? Not near 7, not 6:50, at 6:47. Again, if you guys are new here, the whole reason I figured out gematria, well, maybe not the whole reason, but 80% of it at least, was because of the number 47. A big part of it was 9/11, a national emergency on 911. But then I started to notice something about, I was just paying attention to news more and looking for why did they do all this numerology with 9/11? I started to notice that there was a lot of numerology in the news. And for some reason, they seem to put 47 in every other news story. I just saw this number 47 everywhere for 10 straight years before I found gematria. And then when I found gematria, it all made so much sense. But again, if you are new here, 47 is such a special number. Words like news, authority, government, president, White House, Republican, Democrat, they're all 47. Vatican 47. France 47, where so many of the founders are from, where the Jesuits are from. 47 has a lot to do with the Masons, who have the 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish foundation. But again, government, authority, Vatican, all of those. 47 words, number of authority. And also another number that breaks down to 11 in numerology. 4 plus 7 is 11. But, they got a picture of police officers. Almost looks like they're high-fiving here with the bow and arrow thing. Almost looks like one of them smirking. But then, they got to tell you that it happened at 6:47. I mean, come on, man. They just got to put the same. That's just why it's like, how can people not wake up to this? How is it possible that I have a sister who's been calling me crazy for 8 years and still doesn't see what's undeniable if you just open your eyes to it. I mean, my mom totally sees the 47 thing. She's always pointing them out now and even trying to get my sister to pay attention to it, and she just dismisses it. But it's just, I mean, come on, man. They do it every day. Every day they got to report the same type of way, include the same type of numbers. I mean, the other pattern that you pick up on, of course, is just 33-year-old, 33-year-old, 33-year-old. They abuse that number as well. Don't forget words like masonry, secrecy, order, all 33. A number that has to do with human beings. 33 bones in the human vertebrae. People in person are 33. So is society. But, yeah, you know, today in the news, I mean, how could you caption this? Science fiction becomes reality, right? Captain Kirk in space. And I'm not sure that, Captain Kirk was really in space today. I'm not going to say for 100% sure it's false, but I lean towards the idea that it's probably a lot more likely false than true. And the reason I say that is just because from paying attention to what they do to us every day. Just lie to us and legitimize things that aren't legitimate and keep people busy with water cooler talk. You know, we live in a society where people only feel comfortable about talking about what's buzzing in the news, what's buzzing on Twitter, what's buzzing in social media. You know, God forbid you try to talk about anything else or you have any independent thoughts and ideas. Hold on. Commercials coming on, True Seeker. We'll be right back, you guys.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Anne, before I started using this product, every afternoon my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had the yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
Dowsing is the ancient science of finding water and metal underground. Albert Einstein said that dowsing was tapping into earth energies which modern science as yet does not understand. Diamonds, silver, gold, and platinum objects have all been found using dowsing. And now, for the first time on film, we visit the pyramids, Stonehenge, and ancient sites, dowsing for buried treasure and tapping into this mysterious earth energy.
The Enigma Channel. Intelligent television for planet Earth. EnigmaTV.com.
Real Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker, and it is going to be Rambo's time to shine here. And just as a heads up, the rice cooker has chilled out. I feel like it seems like normal right now, but I'm still alarmed about how loud it gets. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but the house did not explode. And I'll let you know how the rice turned out, and I'll give you an update on the product after our first batch is cooked here. But without further ado, here is Rambo. What's going on, Rambo?
Oh, thanks again. I'm doing all right.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Yeah, I was going to do a part 2 on what I did last week, and the response last week was unprecedented. I got, including my comments, I think there were 130 comments on gematryeffect.news. It was a tremendous response. I guess the subject really resonated. And I know some people were looking forward to part 2. There will be a part 2 and a part 3. That was a very rich incident. It was a autumn equinox ritual. So one thing I would point out about noticing rituals, look for the solstices and the equinoxes. There are almost always rituals, usually sun-based rituals at those times. At the summer solstice, June 24th, that's when you have the Champlain Towers collapsing, or one of the buildings partially collapsed spontaneously. That was a summer solstice ritual. So just watch out for those periods. So the winter solstice is coming up. There'll be a big one, and then the spring equinox next year is going to be huge. So my advice is to look for those moments for higher rituals. That's why they're pretty easy, relatively easy to spot. But I'll just touch on one thing that came up in my deco yesterday. You made a very good point when you brought up Anthony Fauci when I mentioned 95. So since Sirius, the dog star, came up, I just wanted to expand on that. So the title of my post is "The Dog Star Sirius Coded into the News." Anthony Fauci, Jacob Fry. Jacob Fry is the Minneapolis mayor. So, I explained last week what I talked about at Huntington Beach, where Ronnie Garcia was shot while the U.S. Open of surfing was occurring. And that's the most prestigious event in surfing. So that was suspicious. And if you remember last week, I showed that looming in the background in the official picture. That was the official picture that circulated on online media, was the word Equinox, which is a gym franchise. And it was obvious why that was. That was the autumnal equinox ritual. And so in that ritual photograph, which actually played out like an allegory, like a Freemason tracing board. It's practically like a tracing board or other allegorical pictures. The ritual elements, there were so many, I couldn't even touch on them. In part 2, part 3, there are other elements to it. But one of the ones that stood out was, the camera was positioned so that you could only see 2 pillars. And above the 2 pillars was a traffic light, an orange traffic light. Now, if you look at Freemasonic iconography, that's a very common image, is the twin pillars and then a radiant light above the pillars in between them. And that represents the star Sirius. So that that's what that traffic light was in that picture. It actually was the star Sirius, and I gave some examples of some Freemason iconography where you will see the two pillars and the blazing star in the middle. I showed two examples, and then also you can compare it to the picture that this is a famous picture circulated in the media. What that represents. So Sirius is a deeply significant object or phenomenon. It's given like a godlike status, and the United States was founded on the veneration of Sirius, and it continues to be venerated. So last week I showed parallels between the George Floyd killing in Minneapolis and the Ronnie Garcia killing in Huntington Beach, California. And I brought up the mayor of Minneapolis, who is Jacob Fry. Now, a very important date here is July 23rd. July 23rd is when Freemasons honor the heliacal rising of the star Sirius. The star Sirius is invisible for 70 days in the year because Earth and Sirius are on opposite sides of the sun. So the sun is obscuring Sirius. So that's for 7 days. And when Sirius reappears in ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, that was the beginning of their new year. Because simultaneously, when Sirius appeared on the eastern horizon for the first time, the Nile River would flood. So you'll see it's related to water. There are a lot of water-related rituals, like this one was on the beach by the sea. And that's actually why they moved the new year that we honor now, the Gregorian calendar, January 1st, because New Year used to be the spring. It was moved to January 1st based on Sirius. January 1st is around the time when Earth and Sirius are closest together. Because now, Earth has come around the sun. Now it's closest to Sirius. That's actually the basis for the new year we have now, January 1st. It's based on the position of Sirius. So that's the importance of this star. So Freemasons, they honor the ancient Egyptian heliacal rising of Sirius on July 23rd. And there were some great comments to my last post. Some people were noticing July 23rd. A lot of people were pointing out how they've noticed. Now they started to notice how July 23rd keeps popping up. And this is the birthday of Jacob Fry. Now you can understand the imagery here. If you're the mayor of one of the Twin Cities and you were born on July 23rd, at the time of honoring the heliacal rising of Sirius, it's obvious what he represents. Twin Cities, the twin pillars. He represents Sirius shining in between the twin pillars. That's what Jacob Fry represents. And the Mississippi River that runs through Minneapolis represents the River Nile. And as I showed last week, Minneapolis, Minnesota sums to 237, like 23rd July. Sirius is known as the dog star. That's because it is in the constellation of Canis Major, Canis as in canine. And so dog imagery is very common in Sirius rituals. Now, a major example of that was in 9/11. I showed the cover of a book by Hank Fellows. This is a children's book he handed out, supposedly, explain to children the role of rescue dogs, or I don't know. It seems a pretty traumatic book to send to children. This is an adorable dog who was a rescue dog and a security dog in the Twin Towers, and the dog was named Sirius, not just randomly named, and it was in the Twin Towers, and it's reported that the dog died in the September 11th attacks. It's a hero dog. I think there are monuments. A monument was built in memory of the dog. Well, that monument built in honor of the dog, whether there was a dog or not, it's really a monument to the star Sirius and whatever that represents. So yeah, I gave an example. There's the dog in between the twin pillars. And it's a heartbreaking story for children. Why would you give that as a children's book? That's not going to lift up their spirits. I mean, this adorable dog died in the Twin Towers, but that's what they do. So Another example is the satellite radio.
Rambo.
Sirius satellite.
Did you catch that the author's name of that book, Hank Fellows equals Star Sirius?
No, that's a good observation. I did not.
Yeah, it does, and and it happens. They both happen to equal 45, just like Ritual equals 45. So can't remember. Or I can't. I always remember Donald Trump, number 45. He said on 9/11 that he was worried about his insurance building or his insurance company on the 102nd floor, and it's so funny that he pointed out the floor number that day because again, the 9/11 attack was simulated June 1st. Project Amalgam Virgo 102 days before the attack, and they say the attack lasted 102 minutes. And I don't want to get off on a whole other topic, but yeah, Hank Fellows, Sirius, Star Sirius. If you put the star in front of it, Hank Fellows and Star Sirius are a perfect match. 45 and the most pure.
Oh yeah, that was a good observation. Also consider, I'll talk about Michael Jordan again in this decode, but just now that you mention it, he initially wore 23. I think it was July 23rd.
Yeah. That's the 9th prime.
When he retired.
That's the 9th prime number. 45 is the 9th triangular number. I wonder if somehow there's something with 9 in Sirius as well. September 11th is the 9th month, obviously. Anyway, go ahead, Rambo.
Yeah, but when Michael Jordan initially retired, when he came back, he wore the number 45.
Yeah, that's right. He wore 45 and 23. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was, he is coded, he is the embodiment of he's like the anthropomorphism of Sirius. They've saturated him with Sirius symbolism. The 45 just occurred to me now when you mentioned 45. I thought, yes, I'm going to mention Michael Jordan, but yeah, he was, he came back and wore 45. Well, now we know why he wore 45. There's no need to change his number.
Illinois also equals 45. That might have been part of it with him, but yeah, 45 and 23 both got math connections with 9. So yeah.
So there's Sirius satellite radio with the dog with the pentagram. The pentagram can be Venus. The pentagram can also represent Sirius. So the dog with the pentagram, that's the logo for Sirius satellite radio. Jacob Fry. Not only is he born on the day that honors the delightful rising of Sirius, but his full name, Jacob Lawrence Fry, sums to 95, the way Sirius sums to 95. And but is there a dog imagery with Jacob Fry? No. Actually, there is dog imagery indirectly. There is a German animator and filmmaker with the exact name as the Minneapolis mayor, Jacob Fry. In 2014, he won an Oscar for his short film, The Present. And that movie is about a 3-legged puppy. So, it's no coincidence that, with all the symbolism of Sirius, with Jacob Fry, the mayor, he's the more famous one, there's somebody with the exact same name as him. His claim to fame is a short film about a dog. The movie is called The Present. And the picture that I showed is also significant if you see he's wearing a sweatshirt and it has the checkerboard pattern, which is, he's obviously a Freemason. They can't, they're hardly hiding it. I know Manly P. Hall.
They're not trying to hide
Hall
it.
said
They're not trying to hide it.
What is that?
They're not trying to hide it at all. They're just putting it out there for people who recognize it.
Yeah, and then most people don't. I was going to bring up Manly P. Hall, which is ironic that he's one of the most celebrated Freemasons. Manly P. Hall is one of my favorite quotes of his. Is that when the human race learns to read the language of symbolism, a great veil will be lifted from the eyes of men. So he was encouraging people to understand the importance of symbolism, and it'll open your eyes. And the irony of that is, well, now you see how Freemasons are involved in so much stuff when you take his advice. But yeah, so most people don't see it. So yeah, I showed that the checkerboard floor, and also there's a scene here, which I also highlighted from the movie. Because in Freemason iconography, a Sirius light radiates behind an eye. You call it the all-seeing eye, eye of providence, eye of Horus, eye of Ra. but they have the eye and the Sirius behind it. And we all know about the one eye symbolism. Well, they threw in some of the Sirius and eye imagery in the movie. That's why I picked this particular scene where he lifts the dog out of the carton, and the dog is covering one of his eyes. So all the images there, the checkerboard pattern, the one eye, the dog, Sirius, the blazing star, it's all there. And his name is Jacob Fry. He happens to have the name, same name as the Minneapolis mayor. So that's his connection to the dog. Now, in 2020, you brought this up last week, the Major League Baseball season started late. They said due to COVID, but they intentionally started it on a special day. They opened the season on, this is all designed to open the season on a ritualistically significant day. That is when Anthony Fauci threw out the ceremonial first pitch in Washington, D.C., where the Nationals hosted the Yankees. And I left a link to your decode of that. And you pointed out that Fauci sums to 95, because your question, when I meant at 95 is serious, your question was this a Sirius related? Well, when you look at the date it was held, it was July 23rd. They held back the Major League opener specifically for that day to do a Sirius ritual. And Anthony Fauci, as you showed and I'll show here, is maybe not the extent of Michael Jordan as far as I know, maybe he is, but he too is a Sirius symbol, but a pretty sinister Sirius symbol. Well, Fauci sums to 95. The same way Sirius sums to 95. You pointed out in your article, you also pointed out that his birthday is a 95 numerology. December 24th, 1940, 12 plus 24 plus 19 plus 40 sums to 95. This is all related to Sirius. And in the game, you pointed out Garrett Cole, the Yankees pitcher, picked up his 95th career win. So the question is, whether the 95 have anything to do with Sirius? Well, yeah, the date confirms that. The fact that it's all done on July 23rd, all that Sirius imagery, it only confirms it. So there's a dog link when somebody's associated with Sirius like that with Anthony Fauci. In the summer of 2021, this summer, and this happened, the news came out around the time of the heliacal rising of Sirius, in between July 23rd and the middle of August, when Sirius actually rises. This is when the news came out, because that's quote-unquote Sirius season. It was reported that Anthony Fauci had been overseeing torturous experiments with beagles. They were, in some of the experiments, the beagles were bitten to death by infected sand flies. And in some cases, they were actually injected with parasites. And they died a slow, gruesome death over 3 months. Anthony Fauci oversaw these experiments. And they were on, the experiments were done on beagles. Some of those experiments where they were, basically their heads were put in containers and they were sedated. And the containers were filled with these flies, these infected sand flies, and they would literally just chew the beagles to death. This is what Anthony Fauci oversaw. He's a genuinely satanic individual. You can't make this up. And those experiments were done in Tunisia, the ones with the flies, because in Tunisia there are no animal protection laws. Like, that wouldn't be legal in the United States. But the one where they injected the beagles with parasites, that was done in the United States. And I gave examples of this. And you can just Google it. There's stories all over mainstream media about this. His association with basically just torturing beagles. And so that's the connection. So Anthony Fauci, who's tied in ritually with Sirius, there's the dog connection. Now, Sirius is usually associated with Isis. It's considered the star of Isis, but it's also associated with Anubis. Anubis is the god with the dog head. That's where you get the word dog days of summer, because when Sirius rises in the summer, the hottest time of summer, and it's the dog star, that's where you get the phrase the dog days of summer. And Anubis is the god with the dog head, is the god of the underworld. And the underworld represents winter when the sun is at its lowest point, but that's also the time when Earth is closest to Sirius. And so clearly, Fauci, he is not the Sirius of ISIS. No, he's more the Sirius of the underworld of Anubis. You also consider when Fauci was born. He was born on December 24th. So he represents the underworld. So at the time that Fauci was throwing out the first pitch, on the western horizon, in astrology, the constellation on the western horizon at any moment is called the descendant. So on the western horizon in Washington, D.C., while he was throwing out the first pitch, was Sirius. Sirius was on the western horizon, descending, at the time he threw out the first pitch. And it was also in conjunction with Mercury. And Mercury is significant because Mercury rules Gemini, and the Gemini symbol is the twin pillars. So you think of the twin pillars and the star Sirius between the pillars, where they were descending on the western horizon. So he wasn't elevating Sirius. This is like Sirius going down. And I showed the astrological chart. On the right side of the chart, it says DC. That stands for descendant. That means the western horizon at a given time. It's July 23rd. The opposite is the ascendant, which is rising. And Capricorn was ascending, coming up on the eastern horizon. So, and Fauci is a Capricorn. So yeah, he was completely caught. And yeah, they were Sirius right on the horizon, descending. So yeah, that's what went into the ritual as well. And then you had pointed out in your article that Washington, D.C., New York Yankees, Society of Jesus, all sum to 187. And I would add that winter solstice sums to 187. So all these related terms sum to 187. Winter solstice, which is what Fauci represents. The Yankees were playing in D.C. And Society of Jesus, I think it's not that hard to guess that
Rambo.
Fauci's a member.
Summer solstice is also 187. Both summer and winter are. Summer solstice is exactly like Society of Jesus in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. Which makes sense because the sun, right? Their logo's the sun, so summer solstice.
Yeah, but with Fauci being a Capricorn, winter solstice is the most. He relates more to the winter solstice. But
sure.
So it was just a thought because in my last decode I talked about how Ronnie Garcia, who was shot in Huntington Beach, California, his initials were RG. R is the 18th letter, G is the 7th. So his initials were 187, which is a California code for murder. It just occurred to me, since 187 is associated with Washington, D.C., the former quarterback who played for drafted by Washington, Robert Griffin. Those remember RG.
Right.
I think that's why he was drafted by the Redskins. I don't think that's a coincidence. They had to put their numerology in there.
His career was also pretty much sacrificed in a game against the Seahawks, which is a Jesuit city. So, yeah, that's a good point about Robert Griffin. RG3, okay.
Yeah, because I don't think he was ever really meant to stay at they were called the Redskins at the time. I don't think he was ever really meant to stay there for a long time, because he moved on pretty quickly. He just he came in with all this fanfare and just fizzled out. But I think just the ritual of RG.
Well, his career was pretty much ruined in one game. They put him on the field while he was severely injured, and he got destroyed. I mean, it was nasty, the game where he got hurt really bad. I don't know if you saw that game, but I mean, everyone was like, why is he even out there? He's limping all over the field, and then he got it even worse. So.
Yeah, I remember the controversy over him playing injured,
Yeah.
So, So, I show the hieroglyph for Sopdet. Sopdet is the word in ancient Kemet, which is ancient Egypt, Sopdet, for Sirius. That's what they call Sirius. They call it Sopdet. And I show the hieroglyph for Sopdet. If you don't see it, you can see that to describe it, one is like an elongated triangular shape, one is a pentagram, one is a dome shape, and the other is an oval shape. Now, all those combined make the the symbol in hieroglyphics for Sopde, for Sirius. Well, it's clear how those correspond to Washington, D.C. The elongated triangle is the Washington Monument. The pentagram is the Pentagon. The dome-shaped object is the Capitol Dome. And the oval is the Oval Office. So there's a Egyptian hieroglyph for Sirius in Washington, D.C. And also, we all know 155, that's the big number for coronavirus. From the July 23rd, Fauci throwing out the pitch to his birthday is a 155-day span. And he wore number 19 on his jersey. All these, COVID-19, and go on and on with that. The god Set is 19. Set is the one who, in ancient Egypt, he kills the sun. That's why you have sunset. Set is 19. Chaos, 19. So another George Floyd connection is that he died at the intersection of 38th Street and Chicago Avenue. Chicago is associated with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Their intro music was the song Sirius, the instrumental Sirius, by the Alan Parsons Project. That was during the Jordan dynasty. And so Michael Jordan being the big Sirius symbol that I mentioned, and his father died on July 23rd.
You think we could see Jordan die? Wouldn't it be something if Jordan died someday on September 5th, 9559, Michael Jordan's 59? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised the way things go. So. Oh, commercial break. We'll be right back, everybody. Hold on.
I was on the mind.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
It's the Onion Radio News. A rapidly swelling man may contain traces of peanuts. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Lance Kaiser, the host of the Erewhon Thai restaurant in Pensacola, Florida, let it be known to fellow employees today that the bloated, joking man at table 4 may contain trace amounts of peanuts.
All right, the businessman over there, the one experiencing shortness of breath, confusion, and slurred speech, he may contain trace amounts of peanuts, people.
The gasping, purple-faced, swelling man was said to have declined to comment as his throat was closing and he could no longer speak. Some kind of raving psychopath evidently gnawed through his restraints and burrowed out of the asylum in the middle of the night and redesigned the gas bill. According to longtime Keystone Gas Company customer Michael Beasley,
I just want to know how much I owed. The deranged individual who designed this bill hid that simple figure over 9 pages of technical information and complicated layout. What kind of animal does this?
Beasley added that this didn't seem like a gas bill at all, more like a cry for help. Representatives for Palmolive dish soap issued a challenge to the makers of Dawn early today, charging that the blue dishwashing liquid coddles grease. Palmolive spokesman Ruben Mark.
Many might be okay with Dawn's pledge to merely, quote, take grease out of your way, unquote. But here at Palmolive, we believe in being tough on grease, not simply pushing it to the far reaches of the sink. Dawn offers no practical grease solutions.
In a move to court the $8 billion whale market, the makers of Skippy peanut butter have announced plans for a plankton-flavored version of the popular food spread. The product will be sold in 60-ton drums and marketed to whales via whale song advertising. Skippy officials say mass production of the new peanut butter may deplete the world's plankton supply, thus causing all marine life to become extinct. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News. Find The Onion at your newsstand or visit theonion.com.
Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. It is the Gematria Effect. Rambo is in the middle of another brilliant breakdown, and if you got here late, you can always rewind the tape on YouTube, or you can start it over when the show ends, but gonna let Rambo continue where we got interrupted with the commercial break. You got the floor, friend.
Thanks. Yeah, so there's the George Floyd connection, because he died at the intersection of 38th and Chicago Avenue, and Chicago has that Jordan connection, and Jordan has the Sirius connection, and the Chicago Bulls. Well, Chicago Avenue spelled out comes to 237, like that special date, 23rd of July. Also, Floyd, the name Floyd in Satanic cipher comes to 237. Now, with Sirius the Dog Star, Floyd, I didn't put this in this article, but it just occurred to me, Miley Cyrus, with her name Cyrus, what does her last name Cyrus sounds like? Sounds like Sirius. She had a dog named Floyd. Well, she was really attached to this dog, and the dog passed away very prematurely, and she was really traumatized by it. And it's interesting, the connection. Her dog was named Floyd, and she also did a video wearing a Michael Jordan, motif, like a Bulls 23 motif, and she has that signature where she sticks her tongue out, the same as Michael Jordan, how he used to stick his tongue out when he shot. So there's that Miley Cyrus, her name sounds like Sirius, and he had that dog Floyd, and Floyd is 237 in Satanic. So that's another interesting connection. It's all a web. And also in Minneapolis, at 8:46, when the sun set at 8:46 in Minneapolis, there was a conjunction between the moon and Sirius. And that moon-Sirius conjunction also happened when Michael Jordan was inducting Kobe Bryant into the Basketball Hall of Fame. So that moon-Sirius is a big ritual theme for them. So I just ended with this book. Sirius is highly venerated, so you can take this with a grain of salt, and we can speculate why is this star. Because clearly it is venerated, has been highly venerated, still is, and has been for all these years. Washington, D.C. is just basically a monument. The entire city itself is a monument to Sirius. So here's a book. It was recommended to me by somebody in the community. Her name is Mandy. A shout out to her for recommending this book. So I'll take it with a grain of salt if you're interested, but this is somebody's their take on why it's so venerated. It's called The Sirius Mystery, and the author is Robert Temple. So yeah, that's just a recommendation for anyone who might be interested in wondering what is behind this veneration of Sirius. So yeah, that's my decode for today.
Rambo, what do you think about Baltimore? Not far from DC. Baltimore equals 95.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's relevant as well.
Rambo, could you do me a favor? Could you look into the dates August 15th, 1534? And maybe it'd be interesting to look into the 95 Theses in light of Sirius, you know? Some people think that that was all controlled opposition. Martin Luther, who died in 1546, 6 years after the Jesuits were recognized by Rome, 46 Catholic, 46. But yeah, I just wonder. I wonder if we can figure out something about the historical timeline of the Jesuits and the 95 Theses in relation to Sirius. Definitely, it's obvious how it all fits together.
Yeah. So I mean, you mentioned August 15th. August 15th. At least now, that's the actual date of the heliacal rising of Sirius now. Like, of course, it changes over the centuries, over the millennia, it changes. But at the moment, that August 15th, that's actually when Sirius actually does rise. So that date looks related to that.
Okay, well, think about that, because that's the day the Jesuits were created in 1534. When you write out Freemasonry, it equals 158, kind of like that date. 15/8, the Jesuits, the Masons. If you write ancient with the ampersand, ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, like how it's written on the House of the Temple, that also equals 187, like Society of Jesus, like Washington, D.C., like the number relating to the solstices. Don't forget time is 187 in Satanic Gematria. But, yeah, okay, so August 15th is Sirius. Okay, so that... all right, Rambo, okay, let's say I got the screenshot from this application you're using to give us these tables. See, I'm not well-versed in astrology like you. If I went back and look at these dates in this application, am I going to understand what's going on with Sirius, or do I need to have the trained eye to look at this and make meaning of it?
Well, I should give a shout-out to Bobby Simpson. He helped me out with this. He got me these screenshots. But basically this here, what you do is, well, this particular website, which is astro.com, well, you can go to any astrology website, just in general, just a generic search, and it'll give you an astrology chart. This is the tropical zodiac, based on the 12 houses of the tropical zodiac, specifically, which it's different than astronomy. So the astrology, the lineups in astrology are not necessarily the same in astronomy. But so I mean, this is mysticism. So basically, you'll go to a website, and all you have to do is type in a date. But what's good about astro.com is they have Sirius. Well, Sirius is usually in the constellation of Cancer in general, so you kind of have a general idea where it is. So it tells you where Sirius is. Well, most don't, but basically you go to an astrology, any astrology website, you can do a generic search and just say astrology. You can say birthday. They'll refer to it as a birthday, and just say whatever, birthday chart. And then you'll go to the website and you type in a place, a date, and time is very important as well. If you want to know the ascendant, it means what constellation was on the eastern horizon, because that's really key to astrology. Some astrologers think the ascendant is your actual zodiac sign. So you'll need the specific time for that, but if you don't have that, you'll just type in the birthday. Just type in, the date and the location that you're interested in, and then it'll bring up a chart like this. And I guess the important thing is to understand these symbols that are in the circle. Those are the constellations. So like the number looks like a 69 is Cancer. And so you familiarize yourself with the symbols for the signs and the symbols for the planets. That's basically what you have to understand, and that's what I'd say.
Okay. Off the top of your head, could you think of anything relevant? So we know September 27th leaves 95 days left in the year. the day the Jesuits were recognized by Rome to counter the 95 Theses. And again, Sirius relates to 95. Would there be anything in your mind about the date September 27th in relation to Sirius, besides it leaving 95 days left in the year?
Well, it would change from year to year where the location of Sirius would be.
I see.
At that time, but...
Do you know when it changed for the heliacal rising from July 23rd to August 15th, where that happened at?
Well, July 23rd would have to have been in ancient times, a long time ago. So it's a ceremonial. It's a ceremonial date. I mean, Sirius doesn't actually it doesn't actually rise July 23rd. It did a long time, and it keeps changing over time. It'll keep it'll rise later and later. So nothing really stays stable in astronomy.
I see.
So it changed over millennia.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but you said August 15th is now recognized as the date. How long has that been for?
Oh, yeah, now the actual, if you look at the time Sirius actually does rise, which technically it's not, I mean, I guess not. Unless you believe in the flat Earth model, Sirius is not really rising. It appears to be rising, actually Earth that's turning. It does actually happen on August 15th. That's when the time when, put aside astrology, just actual astronomy, the middle of August 15th, that's about the time that Sirius actually does rise after being invisible for 70 days. So maybe that's significant. So if they chose August 15th way back then, they must have known the significance of the time in the future when Sirius would rise.
That's what I'm thinking, man. And look at what time. So this year it rolls on. So you look at all these headlines. Everyone here saying either August 15th or August 14th, depending on how you tell it. That's for this year, 2021, with all these things lined up for this year. Hey, here's a funny article written on the 201st day of 2021. Again, the Jesuit Order 201. Astro Bob, dog days bring summer swelter. Blame Sirius. Oh, man.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's I mean, you can take this book with a grain of salt, but we wonder. Clearly, Sirius is of central importance, and so you might as well just, look at a researcher like this. His name is Robert Temple, The Sirius Mystery. Again, it was Mandy who recommended the book to me. There are different theories as to what the significance of Sirius is, and anyone who's interested can kind of just look into it on their own, I guess.
Well, awesome work once again, Rambo. And again, just want to remind you how Freemasonry and the Jesuits both have that connection through 187, a big number in D.C. So, remember the last presidential pairing from Donald Trump's birthday to Pope Francis's birthday was a span of 187 days. Last year, Donald Trump's brother died on August 15th. The Jesuit day and apparently the Sirius day, so very interesting.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right, Rambo, appreciate it. Have a good rest of your night.
Thanks for having me again.
Always welcome. Look forward to next week. You take care.
Right.
Also in the near future, we're going to have another great guest on as well. We got Rambo every week. We're blessed by Rambo. We're going to get Eric 777 back on. He's busy with his work schedule, but I think he's going to have a break here. If I can't get him on for TFR, I'll just do it on a different day of the week. But Eric 777, he got to be the best researcher in the world right now when it comes to the Jesuits outside of Gematria. Just digging up really great pieces of information to show people what's going on. For tonight, I don't have a theme for tonight. Open mic night, say what you want. If you're one of the people writing me emails saying you don't like my attitude lately, you're welcome to call in and air it out. I could point to all sorts of things that I'm saying lately that could very well be wrong, but it's just the way I feel, and until I feel otherwise, the same types of things are going to keep coming out of my mouth. But if you do call in tonight, again, try to keep your call to one great thought, one great question. Try to keep it to a minute to 2 minutes. We'll get through a lot of calls. There's probably, actually, you know what? There's not that many people on hold tonight. Still, now that we're going out to the phone lines, I'm sure more people will call in. We keep it to 1 to 2 minutes. We'll get through a lot of callers. All right, the man who says Alex Jones is not a shill. Hey, did you see that he was in the news recently? 201 days from his birthday is one of his regular guests came on, supposedly dead from COVID. What do you make of that?
Alex Jones is a great man, and you don't listen to Alex Jones, obviously. It's quite obvious.
Well, I know quite a bit about him.
He did not get sued. That's all a lie.
I pointed out how his co-host supposedly, or not co-host, but just a regular guest on the show died 201 days from his birthday, supposedly from COVID. What do you make of that?
It's all serious.
My man, Alex Jones is a huge shill, and your voice, I can't have your voice on the show anymore. Sorry, man. He can't be on the show anymore, you guys. He can't be honest. See, I can't deal with people who can't be honest about themselves. Alex Jones isn't a shill. You got to be brain dead. I'm sorry. You got to be as brain dead as anyone who doesn't think COVID's a big agenda. Alex Jones is a huge shill. He lobbied so much for politics after decades of talking about how politics wasn't the answer. Then he becomes all political for the Orange Apprentice, the Jesuit pawn. I mean, I'm not listening to anybody who can't be honest about themselves. His brother's all into Trump and the Republicans. He's all into Alex Jones and probably the Republicans too. I'm sorry. I don't know why you guys even listen to this show. Got these two brothers calling in at the top of every show. One's trying to get you to sign up for some Trump campaign, and then this one's always promoting Alex Jones. No way. If you work for Alex Jones, ask him to have me on the show. I bet he would have me on if he wasn't a shill. Let's go out to 210. What's up, 210?
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing?
Good. I'm walking next to my Wi-Fi because I'm calling from South America through the internet.
It sounds great.
I don't have my notes in front of me. I'm just going to wing it from my brain.
All right, Tim. I'm listening.
Okay, November 6th coming up. It's the Breeders' Cup. I'll be less than a minute. It got me researching, and what's that 201 girl back in the 1500s? Catherine the Great.
Right.
So she died that day. So I was like looking at the, her numbers. 167 is huge. It's like
that day. So November 5th, the Guy Fawkes Day. After that day, there's 56 days left in the year. November 6th, if you include that day through the rest of the days of the year, that's a set of 56 days to conclude the year. So I think that has a lot to do with it right there. 56.
Yeah, I'll look into that. What's really interesting is her name is 167. She was born in the city with 167. She died in the city with 167. So I'm looking at all these horses for the Breeders' Cup, which is coming up in 3 weeks.
That's the 39th prime.
People are listening that do.
Just so you know, that's the 39th prime number. 39th prime number. The answer could be in 39.
Wow. I'll look at that too. That's why I'm calling you. And so I'm looking at all these horses, and a couple hits there, and then there was this one horse. It just
Breeder.
All these numbers were just there, right? And I read about Catherine the Great, because I'm getting familiar with her and what she did and all that stuff. And there's a certain, I'm like, what horse is this? And the horse's name was called Art Collector. And I'm like, no way, you got to be kidding me, because Catherine the Great had this huge art collection, and she donated it to the Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia, which is the biggest art museum in the world. Anybody can go visit it today. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I've got my eyes on this particular horse called Art Collector.
The word art equals 39. Most simple cipher. Breeder.
Crazy.
39.
So can I hit you with this one too? Talking about the 201.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So back in the 300 AD, somewhere around there, I don't know exactly, there was a Council of Nicaea, and they decided what books should be in the Bible, which ones should be chopped out of the Bible. And supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly the Book of Enoch was part of the Bible, and supposedly in parts of, Ethiopia and another country, it's still part of their canon. I don't know if that's true or not. But my point why I bring that up is because you got the Book of Enoch talks about 200 fallen angels coming down to the earth, teaching man secret knowledge. And then later on in the Bible, you got in Revelation, I think, somewhere where it talks about Satan gets kicked out of heaven and gets, he has to go to earth, basically. So I'm thinking maybe this number is getting venerated because of the 200 fallen angels plus Satan giving you a 201. I don't know if that's true or not. I know Catherine the Great rescued 201 Jesuits, but maybe she was acting out prophecy. Maybe she was venerating this 201. Possibly. It's just a theory. I don't know if it's true or not. I just want to throw that out there.
That is very interesting. Of course, the Holy Bible equals 201, and we know most of their numbers are picked right from the Bible. That's a very interesting thought. I mean, possibly so. Appreciate it, Tim.
All right. Well, you have a good day, Zach.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Great call.
Yep, bye.
And amazing clarity, calling all the way across, well, I guess kind of in a way across the world. Different part of the world. Okay. Let's go out to Virginia, 757. 757, you're on.
Yeah, how you doing, Zach?
Doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. We got to, on my job, we got to do some of the aides to take the vaccine or, you're terminated. You can't get back in the gate if they're after the 8. You got 60 days to comply. Or, you're terminated. Can't get unemployment because you denied the vaccine or the shot. And a lot of people are being forced to take it, I think, because of money.
Right.
And the finances of it. And I'm telling them, I'm constantly telling them, the only one around me that's woke that's telling them, y'all are playing the Squid Game. And so that's how much mockery they make of y'all every year with something that y'all not aware of. And this is the Squid Game that y'all playing now, this game of death. So I have to wait to the last minute to take it. If y'all gonna take it, I say, I don't know what's gonna happen. I say the Georgia Guidestones say that 2024 we have to have the population down to a certain number. I think it's for them to stay in control. But it's kind of sad that a lot of them being forced to take this vaccine. We got a voice for it. And I told them that this job care about y'all and safety will be our first priority. Then y'all need to tell them to get their lawyers together and fight Joe Biden on this mandated vaccine. Stand up and fight like men. Speak up.
Indeed. If we'd done that from the beginning, none of this would have been able to get anywhere near this far. But we've just been going along, and still too many people are. I mean, that's the whole reason this community is out here trying to get people to stop participating in these lies and these agendas every day. It's not taking us anywhere good. I'm sorry to hear that, friend, but yeah, a ton of people in the exact same situation. Like you said, we're all on this money system. If you want to get that money, you got to follow the rules, and the new rules are you got to be vaccinated in a lot of places. So.
Yeah, and the way you talk and speak about how, just using any words, retarded, these people don't need to be on the planet. I totally agree with what you're saying and how you feel, because I feel the same way. And I always be saying, Zach is right, Zach is right, Zach is right. I mean, it sounds harsh, but I believe that what's going on is to eliminate people that slow like that. If you look at it, that they're a waste of life. They're a waste of flesh. I mean, to be this dumb in the world today, I'm like, how can you be so dumb? And I feel sad and sorry for them that they this dumb. And people like us that's in the community that can get it, I'm like, why are we chosen to get it? And they so dumb. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel did a segment I looked at on, I think it was one of the sites, asking the people to name a book. They couldn't name a book. The only one named the book was Moby Dick and Dr. Seuss.
Wait, I bet you Neo the hacker just uploaded that Jimmy the Kimmel segment on his channel, and all these people that can't think of one book, and then the one guy says, I can think of an author, Moby Dick, and they're like, are you sure that's the author? He's like, yeah, Moby Dick's the author, and then he has some fictional name for the book. I was like, is this real right here? This guy doesn't even know that Moby Dick's the book. But yeah, people don't read. I'm sure they interview 1,000 people, and I mean, a lot of people got to be able to name a book, but there probably are a lot of people who on the spot can't name a book because they do not read at all.
Yeah, and I be telling people, I say, y'all, it shouldn't take so much for you to understand when something's fake. Like the probability, like you say, just to hear that Tom Brady got his 7 rings with 7 players being in the playoffs. 4-3 is 7. You know, they script the Kansas City second seed. They the 7th wild card team to win the Super Bowl. Those 7s lining up like that, it's probability. It don't. It's like winning the lottery, $1 million lottery. Like I'm winning $1 million lottery. That's all it takes for me to see that football is fake. I don't need that much more of that. That's all I need. And it's a shame people need much more than that. I think about Russell Wilson. On 2-1. You know what I'm saying? His 21st pass got him down to 2nd and 1. You know what I'm saying? Gave his ball to 21 on the other side. That's too many 21 for me. And they still can't get it. It's like that one little thing to get me to saying that football is fake. I don't need that much more.
Right.
I know what possibility.
They don't want to think about the evidence. They just want to keep believing what they already believe, and that is they like football and football's real. There's no way it could be rigged. That's as deep as it gets. So.
And I'm like, my sister and your sister are the same. You and her brother, and don't you see how shocked you are when it comes to exposing what's going on before it even happens?
Indeed. The commercial music came on. We'll be right back, everybody.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Gio, founder of Truth Frequency Radio and host of Beyond the Veil. The mainstream media and establishment are running scared right now, and they've prominently featured TruthFrequencyRadio.com as number 89 on the federal government's hit list, also known as the fake news list, which is essentially a list of sites slated for censorship on Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media. Now is the time for you to get involved. Share your favorite TFR shows far and wide on forums and social media. Tell your friends and family about your favorite shows. If you're a business owner, get in touch with us to feature your product or service right here on the TFR. And if you haven't done so already, become a TFR supporter now and get unlimited commercial-free downloads in high quality. Visit truthfrequencyradio.com/sign-up. Thank you for making TFR the leader in independent and uncensored talk radio. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
So, you love talk radio, then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have hard water, the Live Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Lime Scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
True initiation is an inward journey. It's a spiritual path that is totally inward. It has nothing to do with anything external to you.
I want to determine if the Grand Architect is indeed what I believe it to be, which is the artificial intelligence.
The initiatory path is one of self-discovery and self-revealing. It's not a journey that someone can hold your hand through.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you through the steps of initiation. Remember, you are divinity.
Step Beyond the Veil with Chris and Sherry Geo. Fridays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
By the way, True Seeker, about for the last caller, sorry the commercial cut you off, but you did a great job making your point. You were right on, and it's sad. It sounds like he's in the same way as me. He's saying he's agreeing with the dark things I'm saying lately, but again, he says it reluctantly, and it's the same type of way I say it. Like, I don't like saying the things that I'm saying lately, but I'm saying them because I mean them. And if you're like, what's the things you're talking about? I'm talking about how this humanity, this population we have, they need to go, you guys. They're cannon fodder. They're I don't know what to call them, but they need to be amputated. They're dragging us all to hell. They're dead weight. They're brain dead. They'll go along with tyranny, fascism, and hate the truth. I mean, what do you do with these people? I've been saying for a long time, if we don't change the population, I mean, the only thing left to do is get rid of them. And I mean, that might be what the world powers are doing, but the powers that shouldn't be, but their reasons are different than mine. That's for sure. By the way, with regards to the devil, Satan, the serpent, Saturn, in Revelation 12:9 in the King James Bible, there's the phrasing, that old serpent. And I didn't find this myself, but somebody pointed this out to me a few months ago, because they were maintaining that they think that's what 201 is all about. That old serpent. The Holy Bible 201, that old serpent 201, evil. And it's obvious that the 201 gang, remember, the coronavirus pandemic was simulated with Event 201. That was part of another simulation, Clade X, that was 666 days before the pandemic was declared. And that old serpent, that phrasing comes from Revelation. It's Revelation 12:9 in the King James Bible. But Tim, who just called in from South America, made the point about the book of Enoch and the 200 angels, or the 200 angels that gave the knowledge to mankind, and then plus one would be Satan, the fallen angel. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Let's go out to New York. What's going on, New York?
Oh, hey, Zach, I'm just listening.
Just listening? All right. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good night.
Take care.
His voice sounds different tonight. I know who that is now that I was like, hopefully you're not sick tonight, man. If you are, feel better. Hey, also New York. The man who's taking it easy. Yeah, how you doing?
Taking it easy as usual.
Perfect. What's new in New York?
Really nothing, just some other stupidness, you know what I'm saying?
How's teaching the children going? Have you had any good conversations with children? You said you're trying to educate the youth.
Yeah. What I'm doing is getting to younger kids, grown up. When you tell them stuff, they laugh at you and say, no, man, no, I thought that was crazy. It can't happen with you. So that's some right speaking to grown folks.
Yeah. That's
the
the way it is.
Keep, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
And they're into entertainment. Oh, man, it's entertainment for you, you know. It's like worldwide wrestling you watch. You know what I'm saying? You know wrestling is fake. Everything else is fake too. So no, don't like that. Okay.
Indeed.
You wake up one day and realize all the stuff I'm telling you about is real. You know what I'm saying?
It'll probably be too late the day they have that realization. Yeah, I think a lot of people who deny what we're telling them now will finally wake up when it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just chilling, you know?
Well, I'm glad to hear that, man.
And don't change your policy, man. Go at them hard the same way, man. Because sometimes when you rant, that's when people listen.
You're right about that. You're right about that. Yeah. All right, friend. Well, I always appreciate you checking in each week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay.
You have a good night. You take care.
You too.
Thank you. Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different people that listen to me. Some people, like here, let me tell you something, you guys. This book right here, this is my first book. This is my first printed book. I didn't print it myself. There was a man who read the book. He printed it, he read it, and he was done reading it. He said, "You always say you don't even have a copy of your own book, so I'm sending this to you. This is your book for you." And he was an older man, and that was a couple of years ago, and he died. His wife reached out to me a year back or so and let me know that he had passed. Just sad. And he was older though. But his wife, I'm really hurting her feelings a lot now. And she's saying like her husband would resent sending me the book or even paying attention to me based on what I'm saying now. I don't know that that's true. I mean, I've always ranted and, she's speaking for her husband. But it just makes me feel bad, she's a widowed woman, older woman. And she, it's just too dark for her these days. And, I did warn you back in July. I said I feel really dark about the way things are. You're gonna hear darkness coming out of me. I'm not trying to be darkness, but it's just, it's just where we're at. And I wouldn't say these things if I didn't think they were true. I mean, I wish they weren't true. Like I said, I don't even like saying them, but it's just there's all sorts of different people listening, and I hear all sorts of different opinions, and it's just. I just feel bad when I read like her email and how upset she is, and it's not just her, but I don't want to make old ladies cry at night. You know what I mean? And not sorry, I don't even want to call you an old lady either. Just a little less young than I am type of ladies. Let's go out to 814. 814, you're on.
Hey Zach, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
So 19 years, you know about the 19-year cycle. So 19 years before 9/11, we got the drug war, but a war that we are skipping over, I think, is the Falklands War. Now, this was a war between the United Kingdom and Argentina. And what's interesting is Falkland Islands, which is what it was over, is 266 in Argentina, is where we eventually got the 266 Pope. It's also 95. And a group of the islands is also the South Georgia Islands, or the Georgia, which equals 223. And I mean, the numbers in here, the Argentinian name is Islas Malvinas, which is 151, but it's also 292. And it began on April 2nd, the 92nd day of the year, and ended on June 14th, the day leading 200 days in the year. So it was 74 days.
So think about that. I just put it up here on the screen too, and I'm seeing the same thing as you're reading it. June 14th there's 200 days left in the year after June 14th, but if you include June 14th, there's a span of 201 days from that day through December 31st. So that day has a 201 connection as well. So the Jesuit Order 201, Jesuit 42, and plus Wars 42. But yeah, okay, I got this up here. It lasted 74 days. 74 days.
The Falklands War, which is 155 and 56.
There you go.
But if you write out the Falkland Islands, it's 107 and where's the other? Well, what's interesting, because if you read through it, it just seems like a big distraction. So I was looking at other news in the UK, and looking at the numbers, I think it's pretty obvious what it was for. The Queen, Elizabeth, traveled to Canada on the 107th day of the year and passed the Constitution Act, which, and it was the day leaving 258. If you look at the casualty, that says there was 255 servicemen killed and 30 civilians, 258. But if you read, I just got to read what Wikipedia says about this, that Queen Elizabeth's constitutional powers over Canada were not affected by the act, and she remains Queen and head of state of Canada. Canada has complete sovereignty as an independent country, however. I mean, so that doesn't really make any sense to me.
It doesn't make
I
any
have to look
sense.
more into that, but
It doesn't make any sense. They don't expect you to think about it, though. So.
right. And what's interesting is 107, the April 2nd of that year when it started, had 107 numerology, and Queen of Canada, which is her title over there, is also 107. So I think it's connected somehow. I think it was a big distraction for something else, but it's definitely something interesting to look into. This is a very abbreviated version, so.
74 days, like London 74. Yeah. I gotta admit, I don't think I even heard of this war before. So, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely something to look into. All right, that's all I got.
Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Good day.
All right. Yeah. Very interesting. What do you know? A war that lasted 74 days. Go figure. You guys haven't read my latest book. You know, I start with 74. When I was writing this book, I was like, where do I start? Maybe I'll start by teaching about 74, because you can never go wrong with teaching about 74 and 47. 309. 309, you're wrong.
Hi, Zach. I'm Amy, calling from Illinois. Please go easy on me. I'm an old lady. I've made a comment before and you mistook it, and so you got upset with me, but I didn't mean to guide you in what I was saying. Anyway, the courts and all the numbers, and I'm able to follow it. Like I said, I'm an old lady. I don't do all the computer stuff. I'm an artist, but I use oil. The thing with the courts and all the numbers and how they code this, I have a question for you. For one, if you know a decoder that focuses on or is good at the whole political game that they're playing with these same sacrificial codes. And I know that the birth certificate has something to do with it, because in 1933, when they passed the Birth Certificate Act, just find out if you can find anybody who actually owns their ink signed copy, and you'll die trying to get it out of vital statistics. So that right there is one way I know that they contracted all of this into individuals and choose us.
Okay, that's interesting.
Right. Oh, I'm positive. I'm all up in it. I've been stalked by the system, the court, all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. And like I said, I can't see or do the numbers. Like, I hear you doing them and they make sense. I can see it through you telling it, but I can see enough to know that my numbers and all these, that it's being done to me. So I'm starting to get a little quicker about slipping through their fingers. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate the observation, and sorry about the misunderstanding. I have no idea what comment you're talking about, but I do appreciate you calling in tonight, and you take care.
Yeah. Do you know a decoder that does the court stuff? Do you have?
Oh, I don't. Sorry.
Do you know of one that is, because
It
I
could
know
be
you
you.
do sports
It could be you.
and just great things and news and stuff, but, these key people in all these high powers, and then on down, it's just like the music industry, just like the sports industry. This whole court thing is the same thing.
Well, I've pointed out all sorts of rituals with the courts over the years, but I mean, you have the knowledge. You could really start decoding the courts and help out there. It sounds like a great place for you to contribute.
Yeah, if I could do the numbers. I can't seem to figure it out for some reason.
You can figure it out.
How to connect the... All right, thanks.
All right, you have a good night. Take care.
Good night.
Okay. Let's go out to 615. 615, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
How you doing?
Can you hear me? So I'm just calling in tonight about, the larger kind of community and the picture, because, I just feel like the time, is now, and, I feel like, shit's going to hit the fan pretty soon, and, I feel like we just, I feel like we've got our community, the people who are here on Wednesday nights, who watch the videos all the time, like, it's the same people, So, like, we've got our crew, we've got, like, our core group of people, and I think, if we could come together and really start to, do something, and if we're making an impact somewhere, and then that's how we could really try and attract people in, because then they would see us, doing, things in the community outside, the decodes, So I just think, what are your thoughts on any of that?
I agree. That's why I've been, hosting the website Free to Find Truth, so people can try to organize a network who care about this work, who care about the truth, and figure out who's in their town and get together. Are you thinking about it like how did you envision people coming together? Like set a rally date and whoever can get there.
So with your idea with how you wanted to buy properties in Detroit or whatever,
right?
I think that's I think that's a good idea. You're on the right track. But for me personally, I would say non-Detroit. I'm from the South, and I there's cheap land here in Tennessee, North Alabama, Arkansas, places like that. And there's good communities here. There's hippie communes here, that are growing food and kind of keep everything from the outside world out. There's the Amish here, and they're helpful. So there's really, I don't know. I would really just love for people in this community to really come together, and it's just the time to really start, doing stuff like community farming and coming together like that. That I really think it's just time to get away from the big system. We got to get off fiat money. And
indeed, you're right, 100%. So
I'm kind of coming from Bryson's perspective. Not I don't think we need to be stop the decodes. Obviously that work is amazing, and obviously just hammers home that there are agendas being waged against us right now. And so I just feel like the time is really now that we have to step up and do stuff. And I think when we do that, if this community can come together and do that, then that will attract other people that that will say, hey, they're doing something really cool over there. I want to be a part of that. So that's just kind of where I'm thinking. And if you have any thoughts,
Well, that's what you're talking about is the type of thing I've been trying to make happen for a long time. And again, the one thing is it takes some resources. I don't have enough personally. Not enough have come in over the years of trying to raise funds, and things are getting more expensive right now. But the time's been now for a long time, and I wish my video, the message 2015, would have happened, because then we would have had a head start, and we wouldn't be in the situation we are in right now. But this is exactly why I said what I said in 2015. I said if we don't get some kind of community, some kind of network, this system's taking us to a really bad place, and you don't want to be dependent on it. And so I hear it. I don't know how to make it happen. I've been saying the same thing for 6 years. So people didn't. The problem is people listen to me. They're like, I can't skip my job. I need my paycheck, and I can't take that risk. Well, now look at you. Now, if you want to keep that paycheck, you got to take a real big risk. You got to get injected by Pfizer.
And I'll tell those people exactly. They need to be working. They need to be saving up funds to actually. That's what I mean. So they can launch. So they can get out of their situation. So people out there, you've got to grind. You've got to hustle every little dollar that you can get and save. So that's what I mean. So you can, like I said, launch out, and we could actually kind of get something going, because exactly everyone's got to have their own resources to be able to come in and pitch in, kind of thing. So I don't know. I understand it's really tough and complex situation, but I just feel like the time is now, and we've really got to step up. You know, because, I mean, there's a solid community here. You know, there's people, that's what I mean, that are here every Wednesday night, you know, and every live stream all the time. Like, we've got a solid 4, I think. So if we could really just come
We do.
together.
The problem is everybody's in the same boat and not willing to take the same risk. It's all working class people here. It's no one that really has a lot of money. Well, the people who do, I mean, there's probably some people that have some money, but they're not willing to. They're not that generous with it. And so I mean, it's just. Yeah, I don't know what more I got to say, and I haven't figured out a way to make people believe in the idea enough or see that it's worth it to make it happen. But, I mean, it's a tough spot because it's the most frustrating thing to me right now, just the fact that it's so hard to make this materialize. And I honestly don't know what to say more about it. So, but you're right.
I know, yeah, I'm right there with you, man, so. But yeah, so people out there, like I said, let's grind, let's do something, you know, step it up on Free to Find Truth, you know, whatever we've got to do. Like, we really, really got to start coming together because, I mean, it's only getting worse. I mean, the agenda is it's just so obvious, like, and we know where it's going, you know, we know where it's going. And so, I mean, hey, if you want to have a discussion of what do you think, you know, I mean, what do you think in 3 years, you know, we're going to be sitting here talking about, you know, is being done to us. You know, I mean, in 5 years, what are we going to, you know, the food, you know, the food trucks stop coming, the electricity's out. I mean, we know it's coming. We know it's coming. So that's what I mean. We've got to get ready for it. But that's really all I got.
But in that breath, what I'd also say is if we can't come together and make a community, which is the best thing to do, in my opinion, and sounds like your opinion too. If you can't do that, you got to think about what to do in your own situation when that day comes too. So always make sure that you're prepared, that you just got the bare essentials on hand to get you through a tough spot like
exactly. You know, I'm prepared to an extent, you know what I mean? But, you know,
you can only be prepared so much, right? You can only be prepared so far. Cause,
you know, if it went on for a year, let's say, I mean,
right.
I don't know, man.
Nobody's going to be able to write out a year. Nobody's going to be able to write out a year. But, I mean, if they got some stunts that are really meant to impact communities for 2 weeks to a month, that you can prepare for. A year, things will get real crazy. I mean, and who knows what it'd be like anywhere. So that's where you'd wish you had your community and you were like the Amish.
That's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm thinking, like, man, if they did that to us for a year, exactly, like, we're really in some trouble. So, but.
Yeah, but with regards to what you just said, 3 years from now, again, I keep telling Sweet Lady that when she's done with school, I think it might be time to bail on the country and go down to a place like the man who called in from South America earlier, Tim. He talked about how all he has to do is grow during potato season, you know, work the fields, grow the potatoes, sell the potatoes in the market. That's enough to pay all of his bills all year, so he has all sorts of free and ample time down there. It's low cost. It's beautiful scenery. If I can persuade Sweet Lady, I might scout out a spot like that, get down there, and then maybe get some extra land and promote it to you guys and say who's willing to come down here and help out. Here's where we are. So,
I mean, heck yeah, man. I mean, that's the best we've got right now, you know. But like I said, just because I'm from the South, like I said, there's cheap land here in South Tennessee, North Alabama, and you know, I don't know. It's country out here. There's rivers and lakes. And, I mean,
that could be better, actually. I mean, you're still in the States, but if you had a big community there and made it happen, I mean, you might be able to pull it off. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, there's hippie communes that, you know, are kind of already doing stuff like that down here even. So, you know, it can happen, you know.
Indeed. Well, I appreciate the call, and even though, of course, I wish I had a better answer, man. But you know, I'm as frustrated as you are, and as I'm just stuck on how to make it happen right now. So maybe somebody else has the idea.
I know, yeah, that's why I feel like we should just focus a little bit more on what can we do. So, but thanks again, man. I appreciate everything.
All right, you have a good night. You take care.
All right, bye.
Let's go out to Rochester, 585.
Hey, Zach, how's it going, man?
Michael, good to hear you, man.
Yes, you too. Hey, real quick, I got, I was doing a little bit of digging, and I typed in, I put in, who invented gematria? and it popped up and it said Sergeant the Second. I don't know if you know anything about that. It says, if you type in who invented gematria, it'll come up. It says Sergeant the Second. It says the first documented use of gematria is from an Assyrian inscription dating to the 8th century BC.
Okay. I see this answer on Google. I typed in the same thing. I got the same answer. If you ask the question, who invented gematria, Google tells you the first documented use of gematria is from an Assyrian inscription dating to the 8th century BC, commissioned by Sargon II. In the inscription, Sargon II states, "The king built the wall of Khorzabad, 16,283 cubits long, to correspond with the numerical value of his name." That's interesting. I'll look more into that. So that'd be the first written documentation that's left from history. I'm pretty sure it goes back further than that, but that's what's left in history. So that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was related because I didn't know if you knew about that, so I just figured, I thought you had a gem. So.
I didn't know that. I never asked that question. Such a simple question and a good question to ask. It's all about having the right question. So very interesting, Michael. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, Zach. You have a great night.
Yeah, you take care. Speaking of the name Michael, Michael's got that magic gematria in the most pure 33, like people, like person. The word name is 33, just using the alphabetic order. But I still remember in the early days of starting this research, I was dreaming. Oh, hold on. We got a commercial. I'll tell you what I was dreaming when we come right back. Sit tight.
Shit is loud, man.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like Beyond the Veil with Chris and Cherie Geo, X Squared with Brooks Agnew, Paranormal Portal with Brent Thomas, Karanism Raw with Karen and Missa, Fearless with Frank Castle, Strange World with Mark Sargent, The Eye of Ra with Rob Castaldo, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray, Ironworks with Josh Corey, The Kev Baker Show, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
The Weather Channel unveils its Las Vegas casino. It's the Onion Radio News. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Cable TV giant The Weather Channel announced plans today to bring the excitement of flood watches and tornado warnings to Las Vegas by opening the world's first weather-themed casino. The Grand Advisory will be the first gaming facility ever to allow patrons to bet on the outcome of the weather in major cities across the world. Weather Channel spokesperson Claude Bollinger.
Occasionally, a tornado or hurricane alert will sound, forcing customers to evacuate to a basement casino where they can continue gambling in safety.
Bollinger went on to say that the Grand Advisory hopes to sign singer Celine Dion to an exclusive long-term contract despite her legendary fear of sleep. Several days after losing his way in the Manistee National Forest, nature guide Mark Denton just totally forgot which plants are edible and which are poisonous. Rescuer Mick Fanner found the longtime outdoorsman clinging to life and crippled by diarrhea after consuming a handful of bad berries.
Mark knows how deadly some wild plants can be, but he just faced on it.
Denton was reportedly rescued moments before he was about to consume a heaping pile of deadly mushrooms and poison ivy, garnished with Lyme disease-infected ticks and God knows what else. After years under the stifling influence of the Disney Corporation, the company behind The Incredibles and Toy Story, Pixar Films, announced they are moving in a bold new direction with the release of their new film, Blood Snack Circus, which, according to executives, should totally screw with kids' heads. The movie will feature beloved Pixar characters Buzz Lightyear and Flick the Ant as they form a ragtag gang that does little but ritually abuse children. To enhance the movie's theatrical release, Pixar technicians have developed a mind-altering 3D screening technology that makes children truly believe their parents are dead.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. We got an hour left. And again, if you guys can keep it to 1 to 2 minutes for your call, we'll get through everyone who's on hold. There's probably about 20 people on hold right now. But I was saying, when I first started this research, I still remember it. I woke up and I was dreaming, and I was like, why am I dreaming that Michael equals 33? I was like, God, I'm doing gematria in my sleep now. And I don't dream very often, but it was all about how Michael equals 33, so I got up and I got out my notebook. Back then I just did everything on a piece of paper and wrote it out and double-checked it, make sure I did it right. I was like, look at that, Michael really does equal 33, and I'm just dreaming that. Like, I hadn't decoded it yet, but it was just like the thought that was just in my mind as I woke up that morning coming out of the dream. And I thought that was so strange, and I started to wonder if, like, subliminally, what's the impact of this? Since as little kids we're taught the alphabetic order, oftentimes in classrooms, you know, you got the alphabet going around the wall by the ceiling, and sometimes it's capital A, lowercase a, and a number below it, like 1, 2, 3. A lot of us had that in our classrooms. I'm just like, does it create like some subliminal thing in our minds, or are our minds always calculating somehow? I had all these questions when I first started, and I still do, but I just remember the Michael 33, because I never really had anything else like that happen. But if you grew up in my age, I mean, all the stars were Michael. It was Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, Michael J. Fox, Michael Douglas. I mean, and the list went on. It was like, these are all the biggest names and everything. Let's go out to South Dakota. South Dakota, you're on.
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I found it interesting that Ron Goldman and O.J. Simpson were 113. And then, isn't that what you said? Both
Yes.
of those are 113?
Yes.
Okay. I also remember that Shanann and Chris Watts, they got married on November 3rd, a 113. And then actually she was murdered. If it wasn't a psyop or whatever, she was murdered during the dog days of summer. And then the mistress in that case, Nicole Kessinger, her father's birthday is also on November 3rd, 113. So I just thought that was interesting.
Indeed, great observations.
And then I've got just a quick question for you and your audience. I'm just wondering, it's been my experience that this information is just so absolutely profound and life-changing that there's not like a day that I'm not, studying it or, listening to you or, just digging out, all kinds of stuff that I can on it. And I'm wondering, and I work at this, I really do, but I'm just wondering, because it is just so profound, how do you stay out of fear? Like, to live your own life?
Well,
I'm just curious. I'm curious.
Again, I don't know. Knowledge really shouldn't make you afraid, in my opinion. I understand, like, being aware of things can change your worldview, but I don't know. Fear has... There's been people who've purposely been trying to scare me the whole time I've been doing this, but... Here's something else I'll tell you, and again, this is a real trait of mine. Like, I like living, and I love the life I have with Sweet Lady and everything, but at the end of the day, like, I'm not really worried about dying. I'm not afraid of dying. I think, like, if that happened to me, if I died, it doesn't sound that terrible to me. It's like, well, at least I don't have to deal with the BS world anymore. So, and ultimately, what underlies a lot of people's fears is death, so I don't really have that problem. And maybe that's... Because other people have asked the same question as you, but I don't know. I don't feel like you should be afraid because you know things. You should just...
Well, I'm just going to actually be bold and actually just say this, and, your audience, or you can actually think what you think, because I already know it kind of sounds a little bit crazy, but, so I don't, need that judgment when I just come out and say that I actually have been gang stalked before, and it just sends shivers down my spine. The numbers, numbers surrounding 14, 17, 46, and 44. It was just, it was unbelievable what happened. And there are targeted individuals for, whatever reason. It just so happens the state in which I live, the governor's birthday is also November 3rd, 113. But anyway, I guess that's neither here nor there on that.
Well, being gang stalked is scary. Being gang stalked is scary. I mean, that's not so much knowledge. That's like being harassed and threatened. And
it's absolutely real.
Well, I had something here again. If you don't know what happened to me on March 7th of 2000, what year was that? 15. Is that right? Yeah, it was 2000. March 7th, 2015 was the day it all happened. But that day, I got arrested in my own front yard, and there's a backstory to this, but I was being harassed, and anyway, it probably wasn't an accident that happened that day, because Zachary's 37 and Zachary Hubbard's 66, and it was the 66th day of the year, but I was being harassed that day, and I ended up getting arrested in my own front yard, and then I spent the day in jail, and then my neighbor came and picked me up, and then when I got home, like, within less than an hour of getting home, the same neighbor who picked me up, they're twin sisters that live together. They're about 20 years older than me. But they were calling me. I was in the shower while they were calling, but they kept calling over and over, so I got out of the shower to see what was going on. It was my neighbor. She goes, "Oh, my God, Zach, look out in front of your window. There's 2 trucks parked outside, and there's all these guys outside just holding guns in front of your house. What's going on?" And I was just like, okay, this is weird. And,
it's unbelievable sometimes.
But what was amazing is the police officers, when I got arrested, the police were at my house in the snap of fingers. 5 cars, there were almost 10 officers there, almost 2 men to each car that showed up. And I didn't live far from the police station, so I'm a mile from the police station. But, my neighbor called the police about the guys out front, and she asked if I'd call too, so they'd take it seriously. So we both called, and the police officer took I forget how long. He took a long time to show up. He took over an hour to show up, and they'd cleared out by then. And then he told me that it looked like I was making up things, and he might take me back down to the station for wasting his time that night. And I was like, this is such a joke, man. I got arrested over the biggest load of BS there ever was. It was all part of a harassment. For people who don't know the story, it's all connected to this work. It's a lot to explain, but that day I was messed with so much, and then to also have just the vehicles show up and all these guys just stand in front of my house just holding guns. I mean, it was just, and then the officer to come way later. It was the same. Here's the other funny thing about when I got arrested. There were almost 10 officers. All were white except for one, and it was the black officer in the group who put the handcuffs on me. It was also him who showed, and I was thinking, guys, this guy working all day. He arrested me in the morning. It's like nighttime now. He's the same officer who comes to my house and tells me it looks like it's a hoax and I'm making stuff up. And I was like, well, my neighbor called as well. And I said, I mean, you guys were here to arrest me in 5 seconds. You let these guys stand out in front of my house with guns for like 40 minutes and didn't even show up. And then you come 30 minutes after they left. I mean, I just knew I was being messed with that day. And then also, again, I had the car crash through my house on Christmas Eve. And then the police report came out like a week later. And they literally signed off on the police report at the 33rd minute of the day in the middle of the night, and I forget what it was about the day. I have to go back and look. I have the video archive somewhere, but I uploaded that police report to the internet to say, see, you guys, this isn't an accident that a car goes through my house on Christmas Eve while I'm 33 years old, and then the police wait a week till this perfect date to release the police report on it at the 33rd minute of the day. I mean, this is a joke. So,
I know.
Gang stalking is real.
Yeah,
but even all that, you're a woman, but even all that, I mean... I was a little bit worried the day there was all these guys standing out in front of my house with guns. I mean, that's probably the most fearful I've been out of all the time I've been doing this and all the stuff I've been put up with. But, yeah, I mean, gang stalking's different than knowledge. So, but yeah, I guess again, I don't want to scare people, but yeah, if you do, go ahead.
Like intertwining them, because it was severe. I mean, it went on for a couple of months, and I'm talking some serious ass shit. There were 2 car accidents. One, I had a brand new car at that time. It blows up going down the interstate, 75 miles an hour. It blows up. Someone had actually taken my, the top of my oil thing, off. It was bizarre. It was bizarre.
Sure.
And then there was another time, about a year later, where I was driving just an older used car, and the tire actually flew up, way into the air. You know what I mean? I mean, luckily.
Oh, it's like they loosen your tire before. I see. They loosen your tire.
Something. I mean, it's something, and then and then it all actually, oddly and very scarily ended, where I actually ended up being seriously injured, and then in the hospital. In a Catholic hospital, nonetheless. And again, all of the numbers surrounding 14, 17, 44, and 46. It's unbelievable. And so I'm just wondering, like I said, I am doing, energetic, clearing and trauma clearing on all of it. And maybe I just need to, I can't actually help but correlating that kind of severe trauma in with the knowledge that we already know.
Well, but again, I guess from both of our stories, again, the people that try to scare us, it's like they're just trying to scare you. So I guess at the end of the day, you can't let them, and you just got to keep doing what you're doing. So
I think that's what it's come down to, where I've made up in my own spirit or in my own emotions that. I'm going to have to just ascend the fear.
Exactly. That's what you got to do.
That's what's going to happen.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate your call so much.
Well, thank you.
Interesting topic. All right. Be safe. You take care.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Let's go out to New Jersey. 973. (973) All right, maybe just listening tonight. Let's go out to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. 780.
Hey Zach, how's it?
It's going well. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. I just wanted to point out a couple things, make a couple comments. I don't think I've seen or heard you talk about in the Simpsons movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he's presented with the 5 choices, he automatically goes to number 3 without reading any of them.
I haven't seen the movie, so I didn't know this. But tell me more. What are the 5 choices? Like, what's it about?
The EPA is Springfield is in a crisis, and there's a dome put over the city. and the EPA is in control of the whole situation, and they present the governor, which is Arnold, with 5 choices, and it doesn't go into much more detail than that. It's just envelopes, right? Cartoon. And the EPA spreads them out, and he automatically picks number 3, and he says, I'm elected to lead, not to read. I pick number 3, just for the people listening. 3 equals 56. You know, I don't need to go any more into 56, but yeah, I just want to point that out. Wanted to comment from about 10 callers back. I think Alex Jones is a fake. I think it's pretty obvious. It's too big, and I don't know. I used to think he's real, but I definitely don't think so anymore.
Well, it's just, I mean, come on, I mean, he just led the whole Trump political movement. It's just, come on, I mean, there's no doubt about it.
He's good entertainment. I'll say that.
He's
for
an entertainer.
A little watching in there, but definitely nothing to get your information from. You're the only guy I get my information from, man. I don't know what to do anymore. I watch you, and you're I'm a truth seeker, man.
Well, you can follow other people in the community. There's people in the community doing great work too. Neo the Hacker, Kayla Decode Talker, Zenith of the Alpha, Chigozi Truth. There's a lot
I
of
watched
people.
a little bit of those guys. Kayla, I've watched some of her videos. She does good work.
Indeed.
I like her presentations and whatnot.
She's very good, yeah.
What else? Oh, okay. Am I tripping, or wasn't Kobe Bryant's last shot over Rudy Gobert? Am I remembering this wrong?
I don't think it was Rudy Gobert, but it might have been over a player who wears the same number Gobert does now. I got to go back and double check it.
It definitely was. Yeah, I'm tripping because I thought it was Rudy Gobert. I was telling people this, and then I just looked this up again a little while ago, and it wasn't Rudy Gobert. I was kind of mind blown for a second. But and I'd like to do a little small decode of a game from like 6 months ago. It's kind of frivolous, but I'd like to show if anybody's in doubt of some numbers or whatever. I'd just like to share the information with you. This nice little thing I've seen with this game.
Okay.
The game was played on February 20th, 2021, between the Charlotte Hornets and Golden State Warriors. And if you go to the NBA page, they have little pictures that update like daily or every 2 days or something, right? You're familiar?
Right.
They keep switching out the pictures and the stories every so often. On this day of February 20th, they had a picture of LaMelo Ball. They had 3 players, LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, and Bridges. The main focus is it goes Hayward, then Ball, and their numbers are 20 and 2, and then Bridges in the background 0. These kind of irrelevant. So 20 and 2 are their numbers in this picture on 2/20, February 20th.
Right.
Charlotte equals 102 in English ordinal, correct?
Right.
Skull and Bones equals 202. The date is 2/20, don't forget, or 20/2 like the picture. Skull and Bones 202. The score for that game, if you want to look this up, Golden State scored 100. Charlotte scored 102. Charlotte equals 102. Charlotte scored 102. And the total score was 202 on 2/20. And that's my favorite. I can't forget about that riddle.
I got one thing you're missing in your detail. The Warriors moved back to San Francisco last year, and San Francisco's 202.
You'd be the one to add every missing detail, and I appreciate that. I wouldn't have figured this out without you, but thank you so much, and I'll let you move on. Thanks for taking my call.
Great work. Yeah, you have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. His mind's going to be blown when he gets off the phone and he realizes he's been on there for 56 minutes. Let's go out to 412. 412, you're wrong.
Hey there, Zach. How's it going?
It's going well, thank you.
Hey, so I hate when people call in and do the same thing I'm about to do. But if you can pull up the calculator, are you familiar with the meme, the "This is fine, dog"?
This is Find Dog?
Yeah, like if you do a Google search for "This is Fine Dog," it's a meme. It's a cartoon dog sitting in a room surrounded by flames.
Okay, I see the picture.
So anyhow, I ordered. There's a company called Funko Pop, and they sell little figurines. And I ordered one of the "This is Fine Dog" meme Funko Pops for a friend because he's in a bad situation with his job. He might lose it due to the vax. So I bought it just as kind of light.
Sure.
So when it showed up, the number that's on the Funko Pop box is 56.
Huh.
And I got a chuckle out of it. So I did the Gematinator and did "This is Fine Dog" in the Gematinator and check out what the numbers are.
Huh. I can already guess, but let me see. This is Fine Dog. Oh, 144.72 like Jesuit order. What about in reverse? Also 72.
I got the biggest kick out of that, so I wanted to share it with you.
Yeah. It is. I've never seen it before, but just looking at the picture, it is kind of funny.
The whole world's going crazy. Everything's burning to the ground, and we're supposed to just be okay with it.
I know, man. And look at it. Most people are because they're not in the right frame of mind. They're not seeing things for what they are. So they are. This is Fine Dog.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's I never heard of it before tonight, but
the biggest coincidence ever, or whether there's something to that or not.
I need one of the last one with "This is Fine Dog" with his face melting off with some COVID pills in the background. All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right. That's all I got, man. Take care.
Yeah. All right. You have a good night.
You too.
All right. You learn something new every day. He's also getting off the phone right at being 56 minutes. Those guys worked out perfect. It's not going to happen for this caller. But we're going out to the 202 area code now. What's up, Sam? What's up, DC? 202.
Oh. Hey, Zach. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. My first time calling. I'm a big listener to your show. I had a quick question. My mom lived in a senior citizen building, and last Friday, somebody killed two of the staff there, like the people that run the building. It's in Capitol Heights, Maryland. I'm not sure if you can check it out for me. Look at the numbers for me. Just check it out for me.
Okay, here. Give me the details of the building so I can look up the story.
It was in Capitol Heights, Maryland. It happened on Friday, a couple of days ago.
Capitol Heights, Maryland?
Yes.
At a senior living building?
Yes.
Yeah, I see it right here. 63-year-old Roy Batson. Says he was a resident and an employee of Gateway Village. I'll take a look at it and see if anything stands out. You know, I will. So.
Yeah, because I knew him. He was a good guy, but the people that ran the building, they just harassed the people that live there every day. Or my mom lived in the building too. You know, you harass people. You know, just give people a hard time every day. You know, my mom lived in the building too. You know, every day they would just bother people, harass people that worked there. It was the senior citizens that lived there and everything. You know, it was very annoying. The guy just snapped. You know, he just snapped and killed the people that was harassing the senior citizens and everything. You know? So.
Well, I mean, sometimes stuff like that really does happen. It wasn't a national. If it was a national news story, then I'd be super suspicious. But yeah, I'll look and see if anything stands out about it. It's too bad though.
Yeah, the two ladies that he killed were both 46 years old. The two ladies that he killed were 46. They were both 46-year-old ladies. Two ladies he killed. So.
They were both the same age, 46?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll look.
Okay, thanks.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. As the day leaving 84 days left in the year. So. Let's go out to 661. What's going on, 661?
Hey, Jack. Thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
I saw your small short video you did on Joe Biden and the 666, the 6.
Oh yeah.
6 minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you probably already hit on this, and I'm not sure, but if you add that up, it takes you to November 18th, which is the 322nd day of the year.
Oh, you're saying because he said, what did he say? 6 hours, 6 days, or 6 weeks?
He said 6 minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks.
Okay, so
from October 1st, that takes you to November 18th, which is the 322nd day of the year.
Yeah, that's probably not an accident.
I don't think so. So, anyways, just that little point, and then also I noticed on the Argentina War, the Falklands War, that boat, one of the ships was HMS Hermes, which is pretty interesting considering the Hermetic tradition that these people will follow.
All is mental. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and yeah, so I don't think that's a coincidence either. And then my final little short comment is, I think because of this kind of Hermetic law that these people follow, part of that is the law of karma is involved in that. And I think the reason why, although you've been banned and you've had so many channels and this and that, I think the reason why you're still here could be one of the main reasons why you're still here could be that this knowledge has to be available for the masses to find it, for them to pull off their spells. So whatever they're doing, this crazy magic that they're doing, it has to be somewhere where we can find it. It's kind of like the Dracula can't enter your house unless he knocks on the door. You have to let him in. In the same sense, these people, what I've been studying and finding is that everything is out there. If you look hard enough, you will find that they've told us outright their plans and what they're going to do. And I think, like, not that you're a part of it, but to the contrary, you're exposing it, but it's actually part of their, since they believe in this continuum of energy and whatnot. Anyways.
I get the point you're
making. Thanks
making.
for taking my call.
I get the point you're making. All right, we'll be right back, everybody.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
Sit tight, everyone.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's a great product. And the one thing I like about it the most is that when you open the bottles, you can smell like the scent of the fruits and veggies. It's no genius thing to it. It's really just fruits and veggies, which everyone needs. And you guys kind of put it in a way where you can take it easy and you can get it, and it's natural, and that's what I like about it. You know, I like the product, and I've taken it, and it's definitely made me feel a lot better. You know, I am a healthy person to begin with, but it's definitely good prevention, and it's definitely gives me energy, and I feel like it's a natural thing. I like it. I really do.
For a limited time, use discount code TALK to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code TALK.
More than a dozen astronauts have officially reported UFOs. Hundreds of hours of UFO footage were filmed by astronauts aboard the space shuttle. Many of these UFOs can only be seen
in ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light. Retired former Apollo astronauts and cosmonauts now tell their stories of their own personal UFO encounters.
The Enigma Channel, intelligent television for planet Earth. EnigmaTV.com.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker, and we are taking your calls the rest of the way. There are 10 people on hold. First up is Beverly Hills. And again, if everybody keeps it to 2 minutes tops, we'll get through all of them. Beverly Hills, you're on.
Can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you.
All right, sweet. I'm the guy who was doing the green language monikers like Yabby Petito, Small Talk, and the Brain Laundry, and the new guy you got, Patrick Dragon, which is, the way you do it is you kind of break it up in syllables, so it's Patrick Drag On, so it's P-A Trick Drags On. I don't know what PA is yet. Could be Port Arthur, could be whatever. That was one of the big shooting ones you brought up. Some other stuff I just wanted to mention overall, nothing to do with, I think, what you were talking about today. I kind of popped in the middle. But as far as the Jesuits go, before when the Nazis were in power, they were the lowest rung of the ladder was like the German Wehrmacht, the German army, which is like, would be the American army today. And then the folks who were controlling them were the Nazi SS, the Schutzstaffel. And within the Schutzstaffel, there was like a secret fraternity that was actually running the show called the Schwarzson. If you pop them up right now, you look at their logo and just replace the middle with an IHS, you'll see it's the same folks. The Schwarzson stands for the Black Sun, or the Cult of the Black Sun. And so within the Jesuits, there's, I don't know how many thousands of Jesuits, but there's also a secret society called the Society of Jesus, which are the folks who really know what's going on. Most of the other Jesuits that are in the periphery or like lower level, they're on a need-to-know basis. They don't really know the whole, they may not even know about the child sacrifice and the blood drinking or whatever. They may not even be at that level. So they're kind of like on a need-to-know basis. I don't know if any of that is kind of ringing true for you or ringing a bell if you already know all this stuff.
Actually, I was overlooking this, and I see how it fits in, so I think it's a great observation.
So that's who they are. Now you have the Schwarzson, the SS changed their name in 1947 to basically 2.5 weeks after they shot down that thing in Roswell. The OSS was renamed the CIA, and the OSS was created by the Schutzstaffel through their agents in MI5 and MI6 before that. There's actually a movie that kind of shows that called The Good Shepherd with Matt Damon. It's kind of a long, boring movie, but it shows you how, everything was created by the Nazis through the, English intelligence agency. And then finally they came to America, and that's where they set up shop with the CIA and the whole, Nazi SS being renamed the CIA. That's why the American eagle is the Nazi eagle, which faces left, for their Kabbalistic left-hand path, which is the evil path. If you look at the Nazi eagle that they were wearing on their sleeve, it has the eagle facing left, which in its talons it's holding the swastika. And the whole thing about that swastika is it's spinning counterclockwise, which is an inversion of, God's evolutionary plan, the original Hindu symbol that spun clockwise. the symbol of like peace and which you would call evolution. It's the female energy spinning to the right. To the left would be the male. So right now we're in this deeply perverted male-dominated or left-brain perverted male-dominated prison. That's why they're raping all the boys, and it's just that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate the observation and the good connection. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thanks for have a good one.
Yeah. Take care. Let's go out to 928. 928. You're on.
Big fella, why don't you do a better job with the sports? I think you can convince more people.
I think I've done a great job.
Been really shitty this year, bud.
Well, nobody thinks that in the community, but thanks for dedicating all the hours to following the work, even though you're a troll. I'm glad you're here every day.
Charlie.
Okay, yeah, find a life.
You're blowing up.
Yeah, find a life. All right, anybody in Holbrook, Arizona, target practice, 928 area code. Look for the biggest douche in town, probably that caller right there. Let's go out to 352. 352. Oh, hold on. I'll be right with you, 803. I hit the wrong button. I'm coming back to you, 803. 352. You're up first.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Zach. I got a real good feeling about Dallas versus Buffalo in the Super Bowl. The Bills are on a revenge tour, and then it'd be Diggs versus Diggs. I'm still running the numbers, but I really think it's going to be Buffalo versus Dallas in this Super Bowl.
Well, it's a possible narrative. I mean, those are both contenders, obviously, so have to think about that one.
One of the things, True Frequency Radio, it advertises that they had two back. Was that a spoof and a parody where Pixar has departed from Disney and they're going to portray Buzz Lightyear and all these iconic Disney figures as evil participants? Was that just a spoof or was that legitimate?
They run the Onion News on the commercial break, so everything's a spoof.
Okay, good. I didn't think it was legit.
Yeah.
Listen, one final thing. I appreciate your efforts, even though from a marketing standpoint, slamming Christians is not going to promote any kind of unity in this country.
I realize that, but I also realize that we're not coming together. I mean, for 6 years I've been preaching the message of unity. It's not doing anything. And now that we're late in the game, I'm saying, you know what message I got to promote? The message that's about reality. Because too many people are living in belief land and with the stuff that was given to them as a child, and that's why we are where we are. So I realize that it's not good for the unity, but I think people really need to think about what religion's done and why we are where we are. Because I think I'm right. So I might be wrong, but I think I'm right.
No, I understand where you're coming from completely. I personally associated with some very successful large churches, but simultaneously they're struggling with the same things you are between drugs and alcohol and just people are just dumbed down. I can't figure it out, man. They're not thinking logically, I can tell you that much.
They're not thinking. It's like our thought is gone. People are not thinking. They're following orders. They're believing. They're robotic.
Yeah. It's all about survival. I think, skin for skin, people are afraid. Like the caller who was, that lady who was attacked. And I guess the greatest thing you can do, perfect love casts out fear. You can't live in fear, no matter what. I mean, if you're not afraid to die, then you start living. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
That's all I got. I appreciate your efforts, man. Carry on, soldier.
Thank you. You have a good night. Yeah, that was a great quote he just had there. I like that. Let's go out to 803. South Carolina.
Is that?
Yes. Thanks for staying up late. You're on.
Oh, yeah. You're on the call. You still working on that book, right?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying. I was saying. I guess a way. We probably should look to try to find a more open-minded people. Like I think more open-minded people would be like in libraries or bookstores or history museums. We could like just pass out your new Illuminati confirmed book. I think that could help get the word out.
That's a great idea to be at the right locations where people are looking for information. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like libraries or bookstores.
100%.
I think that could work. I don't know if anybody has any other ideas.
I'm gonna do that. And again, I'm gonna try to print so many copies that I'll be able to send them in boxes to people, and hopefully they won't cost that much. I'm not looking for profit. I'm just looking for people who will get out there and help get these books out and the information and see if we can make something happen. So, yeah, I like that idea. I think I'll do it here at Pal's Books in Portland, my hometown. They make everybody line up with a mask, so it's easy to talk to 100 of them at once because they're all lined up to get in the bookstore. So. Okay.
Okay. And then I think you should check out Sabir Bey. He does, he's a YouTuber. He does like stuff on law and history of the Moors. The Moors are black people.
Yeah.
But he's good on the law because he said like for like if you go into a store and they demand like you show a vaccine card, that's sort of like a HIPAA violation. So you can look into that. You can look at his channel, Severe Bait.
Severe Bait?
Yeah, SABIR space and then BEY.
Oh, Sabir Bey. Got it. Okay. Sabir Bey. All right. Appreciate that.
And then, have you heard, last thing, have you heard about, like, I think they bring in Afghan refugees in the United States? And then, I don't know if you looked in that story, and I don't know if the military's trying to train them, I guess, because people quitting their jobs and stuff because vaccine mandates. So I don't know if you should look into that. I think the Real Merkable was talking about that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
All right. You have a good night.
Care.
Take care. All right. Let's go out to Atlanta, Georgia, 404.
Yo, I wasn't even gonna call in at first, but I just felt like hearing this shit because it really be getting on my nerves. A lot of things be getting on my nerves lately, but just a little story.
Hold on. I'm glad to hear your voice.
Yeah.
This is Jay with Open Eyes, you guys. Jay with Open Eyes. He's had to make multiple channels already. Check out his work too. He's doing a great job. I think a lot of the younger people will definitely connect with you. But how you doing? What's up, man?
I just because I seen people call in and be like, "Oh, are you ever afraid for putting this out?" And I know you talk about getting GameStop and all that other shit. So there's a nigga that keeps coming to my comment section. Just an example. I just want to use this nigga as an example. He keeps coming in. He keeps telling me to stop doing what I'm doing because people might come for me and all this other shit. Stop putting out the knowledge. It's not gonna help wake nobody up anyway. All that other shit, right? And then one of my last videos, this nigga gonna comment again, talking some stupid shit. Like this nigga, like I'm not even gonna go into all the other dumbass shit this nigga be saying. But this nigga gonna comment some shit. And then I'm like, bro, it was just some stupid shit. So I'm just like, bro, can you just get the fuck off the channel, bro? And he was one of these, he talked like he one of these street niggas. Like he talked like he like from Chicago and all that other shit. So he was talking about some shit like, I told this nigga get the fuck off the channel. Cause he keep on coming to my comment section, commenting dumb shit. And then he responds talking about, on phone number, you don't want no smoke with me, bro. I'm like, nigga, so you ready to get buck up at me when I'm putting out information? And because I tell you to get the fuck off the channel, because you constantly keep coming here talking about, this ain't gonna help nobody up. This ain't gonna help nobody up anyway. Just waste your time. And plus, they might come for you. You ready to buck up at me? But every time I make some shit exposing what's going on, this nigga telling me, don't do this, bro, because they might come for you. You scared of them niggas you really need to be fucking fighting against. But when it comes to your own people, and this is what niggas stay doing all the time, bro. Niggas always like, it ain't shit. Motherfuckers these same fucking people they'll never go to no video of a nigga pointing a fucking gun at you for 5 fucking minutes straight, talking about the same shit that all these other niggas talking about. They would never come to those videos and be like, hey, bro, stop what you doing, bro. Stop what you doing, bro. But when it comes to a nigga putting out knowledge, and information to try and help people, you just always gotta have some shit to say, or you want to act scared and be like, oh man, man, you should be putting this out, bro, because they might come for you. Like, is that really your fucking mentality, bitch? And a lot of these niggas be claiming to be street niggas.
Well,
you're supposed to be the tough nigga.
I think that's been the mentality.
I'm not even a street nigga, bro. You supposed to be the tough nigga.
I think that's been the mentality for a lot of people.
We don't know how to get gangster with our own kind. That's bullshit, man.
The
but
1960s.
You want to turn to a little pussy shit ass nigga when it's time to go against the niggas you really need to be going against. Why do we stay doing this shit? If you so scared about a nigga coming for me, how about you put all this information out your damn self? And Zach, tell this to all the people who stay coming to you with that same shit. If y'all niggas is so fucking afraid to what's gonna happen to us for putting out this information, how about you share the information yourself so more people have this information? The more people have this information, the more pointless it would be to take a nigga out or fuck with them for sharing this shit, because everybody would have their hands on this shit. That's all I got to say.
Well, that's a good point that you ended there. And again, I was going to say, I think the reason that the mentality is that way, I think it's been that way since the 1960s because of all the assassinations. All the assassinations in the 60s gave everybody the idea that if you speak out, you'll get shot. So
warm courage.
Yeah.
And the reason why the reason why it's possible for people to get killed and then, for them to get away with the shit is because, again, not enough people know about this shit. It's still so many more people that don't know about this shit to where they can kill somebody or where they can shut them up, make them go missing or harass them or scare them into not putting in the work anymore, to where, okay, it's a whole bunch of people that still don't know, so we cool. But if everybody knows, it's going to be pointless. It's going to be pointless to take somebody out because everybody already know that shit.
That's exactly correct.
I'm just tired of niggas commenting that dumb shit. It's like, if you think my shit not going to go nowhere, if you think this shit not going to do nothing, then just get off the channel, bro. You ain't gonna come to nobody else shit do like, hey, bro, stop posting this, bro. It's not helpful with nobody. No.
Use the block feature.
You would never go to somebody.
Just go to the block feature. Just block the person. Just block them. Just block them so you don't have to read their comments.
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna block them. I ain't gonna give them my energy. Like I said, I ain't letting these niggas to my energy. I'm just making a point, which is how dumb these people are. Like, it's like it's subconscious with these niggas or some shit. Like, you ain't never gonna go to nobody and be like, hey, bro, stop talking about sports. It's not, even though that shit not adding nothing to nobody's life, it's just entertainment and shit. But when it's actually something that can actually be applied and get these niggas to stop falling for psyops and all that other shit, do you just feel like you need something to say, oh, this ain't gonna do nothing? If it ain't gonna do nothing, just leave the fucking channel, bro.
Indeed.
Like, what the fuck?
Indeed. All right, well, keep up the good work, Jay.
All right.
Yeah, you take care.
All right.
Some people don't want to block other people, but I'd rather just block them so I don't have to keep reading the same stuff. There's people who harass and leaves just the stupidest comments every single day, so just block them. Then they can just talk to themselves. All right, let's go out to 678. What's up, 678?
Hey, what's up, Zach? I just wanted to touch on the topic last week. Sorry to be a week behind, but the topic was belief, and I think that, in a religious sense, belief isn't good for anybody, but, I think belief in yourself, like confidence is good, or like belief in your fellow man, like brothers, and stuff like that is good. Strength lies in belief.
I agree.
A positive way to look at it.
I agree. Those are some okay ways to use the word. Yeah, appreciate it.
Also, I got another point I want to make for people listening out there that just don't know. If you can, claim exempt on your taxes so you don't have to pay your federal and your state tax. You qualify for it, you might as well. There's no point in paying 26 to like 29% of your money off the top every check when you don't have to. All you got to do, if you work at a place that has like an HR rep, you can talk to them about changing it to exempt. Or whenever you fill out like your W-2s or W-4s, you just put an E. And you can do it that way. And I believe the only prerequisites are as long as you have no like debt in the tax system, you can just file exempt. And as long as you don't plan on owing any debt, is their wording on it. So, and this is something I just figured out, so I wanted to tell people, because my checks have had a little bit more money ever since I decided to do that.
Good call. Yeah, if everybody did that, that would be very effective. Yeah, good one.
Right. So
appreciate that.
But also be aware that your HR reps aren't on your side; they're on the corporation side. All HR reps are there to do is, make sure the company can't get sued by their employees. So, take what you say to them lightly.
Indeed.
And also, another thing with vaccines, as far as the job place goes, don't straight up refuse it. Don't take it, obviously, fuck that. But don't straight up tell them you're refusing it. Go around, use language on them. So, play lawyer ball with them. One of my coworkers made a point to tell them, how do you know I'm not vaccinated? Well, you didn't show us a card. Well, I don't have to show you a card. That's more of a personal information. I don't have to present that just because you requested it.
Indeed. Yeah. So, good point.
Just be aware. Learn your legalese and learn your language. Because at the end of the day, that's all they use against you is how you word things and how you talk to your authority.
Correct. Yeah. Very good. Appreciate it, man. Great call. Thank you.
No problem. Have a great night, Zach.
Yeah, you too. See you. All right, back to back from Atlanta there. Let's go out to Las Vegas. Las Vegas, you're on.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, what's up? Here, let me just pull this. I just had a question, and can you bring up the calculator? Can you put a name in the calculator?
What's the name?
It's my name. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? No, but this is common name. I mean, it's basically like John Smith, pretty much.
Are you the guy in the chat who said my name equals 74 and I was born on April 7th?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, what do you want with your name?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a common name, but it's not in English. It's in English, but I mean it's not.
Okay. Well, we're almost out of show.
Youssef. It's
Youssef. USEF.
Yeah, it's just yeah, YOUSEF. Okay. ALIAHMED.
Okay. You got the 144 in your name? Okay.
And yeah, it's got the 144 in the name. Now, see, my birthday is April 14th.
Your birthday is what day?
Okay, 1-4. My birthday is April 14th.
Oh, perfect. Your name's like your birthday. Yeah.
Right. And in reverse English Sumerian, it's 1404 when I'm April 14th. Now, what I've noticed, my question is so my birthday's 144, my name's 144, this whole Jesuit order 144, the whole 144 symbolism. My birthday is 33 days from 3/11, and I've noticed the number 33 follows me a lot. But 144, and especially the number 14, but even 144 follows me everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They just built an apartment complex next to my building, and this apartment facing my apartment, right next to my apartment, is apartment 144.
Huh.
And I'm next to a Burger King, and it's Burger King number 144.
Well, that's like if you read a book on numerology, they'll say these numbers attached to your birthday and your name. I mean, you'll see how they manifest in your life. So.
Right. So I figured it's it's in the 14. The 14 follows me because it's the day we're born. They say in numerology the day you're born is pretty important, the number. So I figured that's probably our prison number in a way. Maybe that's our number that keeps us separated, in a way. But as far as my numbers being 144 and the Jesuit order being 144, does that mean anything to you?
Well, I think they use that number because it's related to time. Time's 144 in Jewish gematria. There's 1,440 minutes each day. The square root's 12 months in the year, 12 hours in the morning, the evening. So I think that's why they like that number, because they're like the controllers of time, essentially.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. I'm thinking, having that birthday, would you think that would mean anything to me?
Well, I mean, if the numbers have power, and it seems that they do, you're seeing how it shows up. So, and again, the organic side of the code shows that there is something to using the numbers. It creates a frequency. It's it makes it happen more, or there's something more to it than just coding. There's something about the way numbers, like just existing and being connected, how it like it helps create the pattern again and make the same type of thing keep happening. So, but yeah,
Well, I've also noticed that
all of us are like
Psalms
this.
144.
What else?
Like 144 in the Bible means like intuition.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I've always been like the smartest guy in school. Like I've always had great intuition.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, so that probably would have to do with the Jesuit, or you would think these guys have great intuition. They've been running the world.
Truly. Yeah.
You're right. Right.
Well, very interesting.
Right.
Yeah,
So I don't know,
your
man.
name's super connected to your date of birth, and it's interesting how things like that work out.
It makes me.
Well, I do appreciate it. I'm going to let somebody else get in, though, before we run out of show. All right,
For
appreciate
sure,
it,
man.
man.
Yeah, have
Thank
fun,
you.
man.
Yeah,
All
take
right,
care.
for sure.
All right, let's go out to Florida. Florida, you might be the last caller tonight. 954.
Hey, Zach, Sean. I don't have much of a contribution. I was mostly listening in. But I did notice someone in the chat say that Ron Skiba is supposedly dead, and he was he's actually been on TFR before.
He has the show after mine. Is that can't be true?
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's not true. I'm pretty sure he's a Mason, puppet on strings. But
wait,
Flat Out Truth did a pretty decode video on him on Ron Skiba actually. Flat Out Truth, yeah, Flat Out Truth. I'm pretty sure was the channel. He puts out some good content, some good decodes. But yeah, I didn't have much to contribute. I was mostly just listening in. Appreciate Rambo's decode tonight for sure, and everyone else that contributed. And yeah, man.
All right, I
I'll let
appreciate
someone
it.
else get in before they.
Yeah. All right. You have a good night. Thank you.
Much love, everybody. Peace.
Well, I can't let anyone else get in because the music's about to start and my call window. I have this thing on my screen where I can answer the calls. It closes at the end because the music's about to come on and it's the end of the show. So, anyway, I hope that's not true about Ron Skiba. He has the show right after this one. But a lot of times the show's on rerun. But anyway, guys, until next time. All right, Truth Seeker, that's the end of the radio show. I have not disconnected from the YouTube, but I did tell Sweet Lady I wouldn't go too much after because her and I didn't really see each other at all today at all. You know, she gets up early and does her internship thing, and then when she gets home, I'm already doing the radio show. But, here, just to close out tonight's show with something random that I've never talked about on the show is, like I saw you guys talking about it in the chat earlier. That's why I'm going to bring it up. But you guys were talking about semen retention. And I know that a lot of the people who do the semen retention videos are trying to get people to stop jerking off, which I think is a good thing. I'm sure there's way too many people jerking off way too much. But I'm not sure about this whole semen retention and enlightenment thing. I don't know about all that, So, I mean, if you're jerking off all the time, stop. But I'm not sure that semen retention is the key to enlightenment. Again, Kabbalah does talk about how you can't spiritually ascend if you're so fixated on sex. So, I mean, there probably is some sort of connection there. But again, if you're an adult male, I think the healthy thing is, to get enough sleep, eat well enough, be in a good relationship, have sex sometimes. So I don't exactly know where semen retention fits in with that. I mean, I imagine most of you who are talking about this are adult males, of sexual age. So, yeah, I think it's good to have, a partner, and I think it's good to have, sex every now and then. I think that's actually part of good health. I wasn't doing any semen retention when I found this knowledge just to make a point, so... semen retention, I know in the Catholic Church that often ends up with pedophilia, you know what I mean? So, yeah, anyway, I wanted to talk about that because I'm just not so sure about it. I'm not so sure it's actually the right thing to do, to just like abstain from, well, I don't know, man. I don't know. So, I don't know, but I think maybe there's too much focus on it. Find yourself a good relationship. I think that's more important. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now, and we'll be back soon enough. If you guys aren't subscribed to Gematria Effect Sports, I did a pretty big video the other night with just all the 56 stuff going on from James Bond. Neo did, or it wasn't. I'm giving the credit to Neo. Actually, it wasn't Neo. Somebody else went back. Oh, it was Richie Rich. He went back and dug up all the creator of James Bond died at age 56. Sean Connery equals 56. Daniel Craig 56. They said it made 56 million this past weekend. There's a whole lot more to it, but did a video on James Bond and then just some of the other 56 stuff going on in the news. So, anyway, we'll leave it there for now. Appreciate all you guys. Have a good rest of your night. Somebody in the chat says balance is key. I agree. Balance in all things. So, semen retention for 6 months might be a little extreme if you're an adult male. I mean, talk about case of the blue balls. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're masturbating too much, like if that's your problem, then maybe try the semen retention goal just to cut down on your addiction. And but better than that, go out and get a girlfriend, man. Go out and get a girlfriend. Wouldn't it be something if you could see? You don't even want to think about it. Because it's not just guys that are masturbating. Women masturbate too. Just this internet age and computer age and, all the programming of like the sexes, battle of the sexes. It's just like, how many people's like sex life is their computer screen? I mean, that was never meant to be. That's just one of the things about this world that's wrong. And, but the world in a way, it's kind of like a good thing to think about in the sense of like, just how not right it is, but how commonplace it is because of the times we live in. There's a lot of things like that, just things that shouldn't be. So, yeah, find a significant other out there. You know what I mean? All right, we'll leave it there for now. Until next time.